And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump.
Let's start with Donald Trump, shall we?
Donald Trump is hitting the campaign trail.
But this time, Donald Trump actually made it official.
I am officially running.
Now the media has to decide whether to treat Trump as a legitimate contender or a wacky sideshow.
And people said from the beginning he's not really going to run. He's just doing this for publicity.
Oh, he's not really running. He's not actually filing.
Donald Trump is really just running for the attention. He's not really a serious candidate at all.
Look, the guy's a gifted politician, but he's not a serious candidate.
Do you believe that Trump is a serious candidate?
Why on earth would we be considering him as a serious presidential candidate?
It's fine. He's not going to win anything. It's fine.
But even after all this bluster and boorishness,
Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency.
he still leads the national legitimate polls.
Donald Trump is having his moment. Whether he has staying power is to be doubted.
Well, I think America's about done with him.
I think this is going to be the beginning of the end of Donald Trump.
The pundits say, forget about these numbers. We know what's going to happen, and Trump won't win.
Well, I don't think it's likely that Donald Trump will be the nominee.
I don't think he's going to be the Republican nominee or the president of the United States.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Trump is not going to be president, and he's not going to be our nominee.
Donald Trump's not going to be the nominee.
He's not going to be the nominee, Chuck.
Question is, can the Republican Party actually knock Trump down?
Republican leaders map strategy to derail Donald Trump.
Special interest groups are investing millions in negative ads.
The Republican establishment has been running scared as Trump gains and gains some more in the polls.
I think some people are starting to be concerned because they keep waiting for this drop in the polls.
It's not going to happen.
Donald Trump is the projected winner of the New Hampshire primary.
CNN projects Donald Trump will win the South Carolina primary.
Donald Trump will be the winner.
Donald Trump will comfortably win.
Trump has got momentum. It's real.
Trump will finish well ahead.
Donald Trump will have won.
Trump's wins were sweeping.
Can anyone stop Donald Trump?
Is there anything that can stop Donald Trump?
Is he stoppable? Is he unstoppable?
The media is pumping him up as some sort of unstoppable force.
If at the beginning of this campaign you had bet on this scenario, you should quit your job and turn your attention to the stock market.
We win in Indiana. It's over with, folks. It's over with.
It's going to be okay. Just take a deep breath of water and say the words out loud. President Trump.
Fox News can now project that Donald Trump will beat Texas Senator Ted Cruz.
How worried should the world be about a President Trump?
I am beginning to believe
A lot of people have laughed at me over the years. Now they're not laughing so much, I'll tell you.
he could be elected president of the United States.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smyth Radio. Your host, Brian Smith, and
Carrie Smith,
giving you all the late-breaking news, the details of the past week, everything that goes down on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because that's where they hide the nuggets, the golden calf, if you will. They try to hide that from you, and we expose it all and tell you the truth. That bit, that montage, that was a different intro that we're not used to on Smyth Radio, but that montage was just...
We just love it.
Oh,
I love hearing that. It's not even that new, but gosh, every time I hear it, I'm like, it's just amazing how wrong they were, right? All the pundits and you got to see the video too, because the look on some of these people's faces when Ann Coulter says, "Oh yeah, Donald Trump," and they panned over really quick to the rest of the panel as she said this. The looks on their face are classic, classic. Oh, I'm telling you.
Oh. You heard the crowd. I mean, she was obviously on Bill Maher's show, which is a left-leaning lib show, and the entire crowd erupted in not happy. It was laughter. They were laughing at her. Like, you're a big joke.
Yeah, like, this is so ridiculous I couldn't help but laugh is the type of thing, right?
Right. No, exactly. And she's amazing. She's amazing how thick a skin she has. And the goal...
It's like Milo, right?
Oh.
They're just like, I know it's coming. I know it's coming, right?
Have they ever invited Milo on Bill Maher? When they do.
That would be fireworks, because Bill Maher is actually pretty confident in his idiocy. You know?
Right. Oh,
He's
yeah.
very confident. You know, when you're wrong and when you're dumb, a lot of times confidence will go a long way.
Yes, I agree. No, I agree 100%. And so do you want to start off with breaking news? I mean, if you will, some of the things that have happened, I mean, it's just incredible what has gone down in the past 48 hours, if you will. Let's get everybody caught up to
Good
speed.
idea. Yeah.
This week was the Democratic National Convention.
We don't use improper pronouns.
Because it was not a democratic process.
Adjectives, if you will.
To get Hillary Clinton on the ticket.
We jokingly said that because of the super delegates, right? It's like, it's the whole thing was, okay, we're cool with the fact that there's an electoral college, right? And we're okay with that, and we understand why the founders did that. You get into the delegates, which is kind of like a primary version of an electoral college, right?
Right.
And then you get into the details of the delegates, and you're like, okay, this is a little different than the electoral college. The super delegate situation was making a mockery out of democracy.
Oh, absolutely.
So we joked about it for months and months, and we said, look at what they're doing to Bernie. This is unbelievable.
Well, I think we first started to get into it, and I started to learn, and I'm going to be honest with you folks, and something we did learn was that the rules for the delegates and for choosing the candidate, the rules change every year. And they can make those rules up as they go at times, it seems. And it was exposed. If nothing else, Trump has exposed the entire process as one big scam that we knew all along, but nobody exposed it.
You know what it was?
Dude, it was the Colorado ordeal.
That's one thing.
Lifelong politician Ted Cruz started. He pulled the pin out of the grenade, and that was Colorado.
Okay, that's Colorado. But
Right.
what I wanted to say was that you called it pulling a pin from a grenade. I call it like, imagine a curtain that's, shrouding the truth, and you whip open that curtain, right? And then you find
Wizard of Oz again.
The Wizard of Oz situation. However, what Trump has been able to do, if you really stop and think about it, with the Colorado thing, and I'm not even talking about Trump. I mean, Trump was like the catalyst, right? He was like the fuse, right? And the
Right.
bomb is currently going off.
Correct.
And it's out of Trump's hand at this point. But without Trump, it wouldn't have ever even been lit.
Right.
It's out of his hands now, but here's the bomb. It's not just, a curtain got pulled. It's curtains everywhere.
It's the chain reaction and a nuclear bomb that's been dropped.
So many curtains. So you're talking about a pin. You know what it is? He pulled a pin out of a grenade that everybody's afraid to pull the pin out of.
Right.
But there's grenades everywhere, and everybody else was like, you know what? I just saw Trump pull a pin, and I kind of liked it.
Oh, I'm going to pull one too.
And then now everybody else is like, well, look, they're pulling pins. Let's pull pins.
It's no big deal. Come on now.
Yeah, and there's some people that are really trying and starting to make a career out of it. And that's where you get your Smyth radios and you get your Mike Saraviches and your voices and all this kind of stuff. And the establishment's getting left behind, and rightfully so.
And so what happened to the establishment on the the Democrat side at the DNC convention?
Oh, hell broke. This was
You're wrong, Kerry.
Curtains.
No, you're wrong. CNN said that it was the most professional. It was peace on earth.
Okay, when you say professional, I give a lot of respect for somebody like Elizabeth Warren, who can sit up there and power through a speech as if nobody is heckling the hell out of her. And just act like it's not happening at all.
Okay, the protest. Oh, and juxtapose, there were 0 protesters in Cleveland for Trump. It was maybe not 0-0,
Virtually.
but
no,
but
I've been following the feeds on Periscope,
Right.
and I'm gonna tell you right now, I can describe it really quick, summarize it.
Who are we following? What's his
Mike
name?
Saravich.
Yeah, Mike Saravich.
If you want to follow him on Twitter, it's at Saravich, which is CEROVICH. That's Saravich.
He's periscoping the stuff, and it's phenomenal stuff.
He's like one of the first ones, not the very first one. I was following Tim Pool, and Tim Pool is doing exactly the same thing that Saravich is doing, except he is working for Fusion, whereas Mike just has his own website, his own Periscope. It's like totally on his own, completely independent. And
Periscope is a live feed to Twitter. Just for those of you, there might be a lot of folks listening right now. don't know Periscope.
Right.
Periscope is owned by Twitter, and it literally you live feed your video to Twitter.
And I'm a technophile.
So if somebody stole your phone from you or the cops broke it, what you had previously recorded is in the ether forever.
And it's funny because Periscope isn't that old, but Facebook has already copied that technology.
Yeah, I know, but we don't use it.
Well, some people the
woman did use it.
The woman that had her baby's boyfriend shot up in the car by that cop, by that white cop who she said was Chinese. But anyway, she wasn't periscoping; she was actually live Facebooking. So anyway, just to let you guys understand, it used to be this way: you would bust out your camera, you would turn on the camera, and you would record it. When you were done recording, it was a file on your phone. If you wanted the world to see it, you had to hurry up and find a computer to transfer that file to the computer so that you could start uploading to YouTube. And then at that point, the world could see it as a video that you uploaded.
Correct.
Periscope bypasses all that and says, if you're videotaping it, the world can see it. Period.
They can see your phone as it's running live.
It's pretty
So
cool.
this is what Saravich did. He went to Cleveland for Trump, and he was. I think my impression was that he was amazed at how peaceful.
He later on said that he was so bored at the RNC that he almost didn't go to the DNC. Almost. He thought there were going to be Molotov cocktails and just huge riots. He thought that the DNC.
You even talked about trying to get up there yourself.
Yeah, and he actually invited anybody that wanted to come up and meet him to hang out with him, and I was like this close. I was so close to doing it.
It would have been you'd have found something to do.
It would have been
but going by
relatively
yourself.
speaking, he found it to be kind of boring, and the reason is because the few protesters that were there were actually grassroots. And they were expecting there to either be a huge grassroots movement to protest, or what is usually the case, that Black Lives Matters, in conjunction with the DNC and ordered by Hillary Clinton campaign and funded by George Soros, would have had everybody bust in from all over the country. That's how it works.
I am shocked that did not.
That's
go
really
down.
weird. I'm really shocked too. Totally. Like, what was their rationale?
Like maybe they didn't get it together in time. They slipped.
I heard that the order was given, we're just not going to do it. That's really weird. Really weird.
Maybe they did that because they didn't want to have what happened to them this week go happen. Maybe they anticipated, they knew that the Bernie craze is.
No, they thought that they were totally taken off guard by that.
You think so?
Even better. Those people were not funded by anybody. They weren't bussed in.
Oh, yeah.
That was a true grassroots movement at the DNC.
So if you don't know, there were giant,
thousands,
huge crowds, and those crowds were blocked by huge walls.
Oh, and also it was a media blackout.
Yeah.
Mike Saravich was the only person that you could count on to get you the news of that.
And what was that? The one that we were watching him live. He walked up as a delegate standing outside.
Oh, yeah, it was so sad.
Can you describe this?
Yeah, he said, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm trying to get in, but they won't let me in. Why not? Who are you?" He said, "I'm a delegate. I'm a Bernie Sanders delegate from whatever state.
I think he said it was
Georgia
from Kansas.
or something. Kansas, okay." And he's like, well, "What happened?" He said, "They uncredentialed me," is what the word he used.
And a lot of Sanders,
thousands of them,
uncredentialed.
And we know it was at least 1,000 because that was the Craigslist ad, right?
Yes. There are so many levels and so many folds of this story, folks.
So once they uncredentialed a third of the delegation, they had to fill those seats because you didn't want to have happen what happened to Bill Clinton, which, by the way, did you know what happened? I watched Bill Clinton live. All of the shots, and there were multiple, and they kept, showing different angles.
Right.
Very close up. Really close up. Sometimes they would zoom out so far that you could see a couple of the first front rows.
Right.
And that's it. Because I heard that it was like empty seats everywhere.
There was a guy in there, Periscope, and I didn't get his name, but I reposted on Twitter. So follow us. It's at Smyth Radio, SMYTH Radio. or you can catch us on Facebook.com/Smyth Radio. And there was a guy in the convention periscoping, and he was going around videotaping the entire arena. And he said, man, this is insane. There is no energy. The seats are empty. The entire California delegates the whole section was missing. And then sections that were booing or chanting had the lights turned off on them.
During the Bill Clinton, because I heard about the lights turned off during another speech.
Yeah, they were turning lights off on. They eventually, because the booing got so bad that they had to start. That was their answer. They just started turning lights off.
Also, if you try to turn a camera on a crowd that's been blacked out by the lights being turned off, it'd be hard to see. Right. So you could do that. But okay, so I went to this. I'm going to say it's an indoor soccer game. We have a local pro team, and by pro I mean I think they get like maybe $50 a game. like, hey man, just show up, dude, for real.
Right.
You get $50. I'm talking about the players.
Wow.
So I show up, and of course, every time something cool happens, we scream out and there's like literally 200 people in an arena that fits about 9,000.
Okay.
So when we cheer, it sounds different than when you're in a sold-out arena.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's like this really muffled screaming, and then you can kind of hear the echoing off the walls.
But when the place is packed.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that sound is what I was hearing while Bill Clinton was speaking.
Oh!
Yeah.
And crickets in the background.
I didn't hear the crickets, but when you heard the cheering, you could hear the echoes of those cheers. It was really sad.
So this delegate from Kansas that got jumped, not jumped, but he was approached. Saravich was videotaping him screaming to whoever would listen, "We've got to uphold our pledge. We will support Hillary."
You're talking about two different casts he did. One, he just interviewed a guy sitting there, like, yeah, I've been locked out. The other one, they had a walkout. The walkout was where they voluntarily all decided we're going to walk out and make them look embarrassed. It's going to be embarrassed. So we're going to embarrass them by walking out. And so when they walked out, they went to the media tent. And
they did. They overtook the media tent.
Yeah, so Mike was right there. And Mike filmed something. And if I get a chance to interview him this week, oh my gosh, I'm going to totally have him tell the story of this. Because it is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen with regards to journalism in politics in my life. And it was so simple, but it was amazing. It was groundbreaking. It was the same week that the DNC WikiLeaks was all over the news, just plastered from wall to wall, and they just couldn't escape it. They couldn't do anything to help it.
There were multiple, and then all of a sudden, multiple people started periscoping that media tent.
Okay,
that thing was a chaos, and the media themselves, they were like.
But Mike got the scoop on the big story. This right here summarizes probably the entire election campaign.
And he was screaming it out loud. He was like, He was
shaming the media.
Yes.
So this is what happened. So a delegate who claims he was a Bernie delegate. Okay. He's a young man, really young, and he had a three-piece suit on. Like, he was dressed really nice. So I feel like he was more than just some guy that was picked out to be a delegate. I feel like he was a big political insider.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just the way he was dressed, the way he spoke. I mean, a lot of people are afraid to do this. This guy walked out into a hostile crowd and started to scream out to the crowd very eloquently, like he had practiced the speech. Sounded like a pro.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and he started to announce like it was the Middle Ages before they had microphones. He was like screaming out to the crowd that we all need to rally around. Forget this Bernie Sanders thing. I was a Bernie Sanders delegate, but I saw the light because I'm smart and I know how this works. And we all need to be smart. And we all need to rally around Hillary Clinton. And so he's screaming out, and this is like 2 feet away from Mike, so he's catching all this.
And he's probably, 25 or ish.
What, years old? No, he's 38.
No. The guy that was the delegate.
Oh, he was young.
Yeah, young kid.
He's like a big, kind of husky young dude. Like, he looks like he probably only shaves once every 3 days.
if that.
Yeah, like maybe he's never shaved before.
No, right.
Real baby face looking dude. So
like he's got to pick the hairs off with a tweezer so it doesn't
well,
look
it's the
weird.
peach fuzz. Yeah,
right.
peach fuzz. You got to take care of the peach fuzz. So all of a sudden, this older woman who was also a Bernie delegate that was there protesting starts to bring up some legitimate points why she's not going to vote for, or why we shouldn't go along with what you're saying. Correct. We're not going to go ahead and support Hillary like you're telling us to do. And it's because of X, Y, and Z. Probably part of it is, the lies, the email scandals, the other scandals, the Benghazi situation, just the history of her supporting her husband who was raping women and all that kind of stuff.
And then every single thing that she did or had something to do with that made her money, the pay to play, everything.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the last show.
The,
from Haiti to Russia.
The Clinton Crime Foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
Just on a side note, some of the media had put out there, some of the real media like us had put out there that it's amazing the Clinton Foundation was not brought up one single time the entire 4 days of the DNC convention.
Well, they wouldn't. They wouldn't bring it up. But you think that the media should have.
Like how much good the foundation has done and how much the Clinton Foundation has given back to society. But if you fact check that, they've actually cost American taxpayers $5 billion.
Well, an article came out today that somebody audited, I guess. I don't know how that's even possible because the real facts are gone to the ether in the
forever
in the email deletions. Somebody said the confetti coming down from at the DNC were all of her emails. Yes, that was her emails.
That's good.
The shredded confetti coming down.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, those were her emails. So anyway, oh man. So this article came out. 10% of all the money donated to the Clinton Foundation go to charitable grants.
So 90% is administrative costs.
Is lining my pockets. I'm in a boat.
And then and let's juxtapose. What about Trump and the $6 million he raised?
100% of it.
Maybe even more. Who paid the administrative cost though, Kerry? You got to pay the administrators.
Pocket, I guess. Yeah. But he said 100% of what he said was raised, which, by the way, and you can actually attack him on this. I think it's wrong ethically, morally, but he threw in a couple million himself.
You don't
have his own pocket.
I don't think that's wrong.
No, to attack him.
The
attack is this. Oh, you said you raised $6 million. But the only reason you got the $6 million is because you had to put $2 million of your own in.
Well, but he started the whole thing off with, "I'll match up to $2 million."
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Well, but
he's doing that now. He's doing these things now where he's like, if we reach our goal of $10 million, I'll throw $1 million I'll write a check.
No, I saw that on Facebook just now.
Well, that's not even the first time he's done that. He's actually done that several times. So that's cool. But I didn't hear that for the veterans fundraiser that he did back in February, I think. It was a long time ago.
Right, it was a while ago.
And so the point is that he got the $6 million. No matter how he did it, it really shouldn't make a difference. And it did go to a good cause. And 100% of it went to a good cause, right?
Right, of course. Of course. And he had to vet every organization.
That was the delay. The delay was they were all like, look, he's waiting till we turn our backs, and he's going to shove it all in his pocket.
Right.
That's what they're trying to say. You know why? Because they would do that. Because they're Democrats.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how they roll.
Absolutely do that. So,
wrapping up the delegate. Did we wrap up the delegate that?
Oh, yeah. So, let's go ahead and finish that story. So, I can't wait till I get to have Mike give us the details of that, because I'm sure he saw a lot of stuff that Periscope didn't pick up.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sometimes I feel like I'm looking through a tube because you don't get the full picture.
Right.
And he does a good job of panning around, but sometimes you get sick. So this guy's screaming that we should support Hillary. The woman is giving valid concerns why we shouldn't. Well, the media's there. This is the media tense. 20 to 25 people with the $10,000 cameras that are shoulder mounted,
Right.
Boom arm mics, the real big long, the big black on the big monopod thing that they hold over the top of the crowd.
Right.
There's like 10 people with those things. There were people with lights, like handheld, the big professional ones.
Because they wanted to see what the girl had to say in opposition to Hillary.
No.
What?
You would think maybe mix?
Right,
Like
half and
and
half. Yeah.
No. Every single one of them mobbed this guy and started fielding questions to him. They were talking over to the top of each other, trying to get questions in. And he starts answering the questions and speaking. And Mike is like, he starts doing the back and forth thing with this. He said, look at this. This guy here is a Hillary supporter. He claims he's a Bernie delegate, and now he's supporting the supposedly eventual nominee, Hillary Clinton. This woman over here is not going to vote for Hillary, is a never Hillary, and she has legitimate concerns, and she tried to voice them. And she was standing there looking completely lonely and sad.
Right.
With not a single reporter giving two craps about her. And then he's panning back and forth. He said, what you are seeing here, folks, is WikiLeaks in real time. This was what they were talking about.
It's a fact. It is an absolute fact.
The DNC, under orders of Clinton, because Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she doesn't speak unless she's ordered to by Hillary Clinton.
Correct.
So anything that she says or does, or any kind of a policy that she puts in play, will have been ordered by Hillary Clinton. And she's the head of the DNC. So the DNC is working under orders of Hillary Clinton, which is the Clinton campaign.
Right.
Which is the person running against the other people trying to get the Democratic nomination.
On a side note, when Hillary lost to Obama, they had to get Debbie Wasserman Schultz in at the top to orchestrate this so that Hillary would win the second time around.
Okay. I mean, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that was the goal. They needed a mouthpiece.
And so here's this guy being surrounded by the media. So these guys are all working in conjunction with the media. This was proven in the WikiLeaks. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think 20, 30, 50 years from now, people are going to be talking about this WikiLeaks thing. Honestly, 50 years from now, people are going to be looking back and saying, this is what happened back then. And there will be other times where it happens again, and people are going to refer back to what happened in 2016 when, this woman named Hillary Clinton, the former First Lady, that's how she's going to be remembered. Everybody remembers Bill Clinton, but there's this woman, her name is Hillary Clinton. Because she ain't going to be president. Ain't going to happen.
Right.
Not going to happen. So anyway, he's going back and forth, panning back and forth. He's screaming loud. Look at these reporters. They're surrounding this guy. You're seeing WikiLeaks in action. The DNC paid media are here surrounding a Hillary Clinton supporter. And then he pans back over to the woman. And this woman, who's a Bernie supporter, who's not going to vote for Hillary, is completely ignored. And she's looking at the camera, looking so sad. She looks like that puppy in the commercial for the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Oh, no.
I'm not trying to say she's a dog. I'm just saying she looked very sad.
Well, puppies can be cute. I mean, it's sad, too. The sad puppy eyes.
Yeah.
At the end of that, there was somebody with a pad of paper, like a Post-it note size pad of paper, and a pencil that looked like they were talking to her and maybe writing...
Oh, no, dude, at the very end, several of the people who were in the scrum, the media scrum around the Hillary supporter, eventually came over. And guess what Mike said? And I don't think this is just him talking crap. I think there's some truth to it. He said, you see, this is what I do. I shamed them into doing their job. He said that. He said, I shamed them into doing their job.
They don't even flinch. None of them even looked at him.
They didn't even notice that what they were doing was being captured.
Yeah,
they didn't care. They didn't know. They were just like, hey, we were ordered to make sure that Hillary gets elected. This guy is going to tell us why, so we need to make sure his word gets out.
Right.
We don't want the message to get out that there's a reason not to support Hillary.
See, I'm on the job. I'm getting paid So regardless of whatever you say, you don't pay my bills.
That's right.
Hillary pays my bills.
Right. Hillary pays his bills, and actually, it's, if you really stop and think about it, it's George Soros.
Right,
It's George,
funneled through.
Right.
And other foreign
Through
countries.
the Clinton
There's foreign
Foundation.
countries.
That's
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, Saudi Arabia dumps billions in the Clinton crime family in order for them to take 90% of that for administration costs. Oh, so yes, I'll tell you what, that footage, I hope somebody caught. I didn't know this, but Periscope's videos only stay up for 24 hours.
Okay. I don't know if I can get in trouble for this, but
You mean there's a way we could circumvent?
I made a very valiant attempt to rip a video down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I scoured the net, I scoured the apps, there was one app that said, "Oh yeah, you can do it." So I ripped the video down, but when I put the video into my app to edit the video, there's only 5 seconds of the video. So I don't understand. There's something happens to it. But if I just hit play, and I use VLC player, and the player opens up, it says it's only 5 seconds long, but when it gets to the 5 seconds, it just keeps going. It keeps playing.
Bit of a glitch, yeah.
So there's something glitchy. If there's a great app out there, folks, please let us know.
How to permanently save a Periscope.
Because there are tons and tons of...
And they don't stay on Twitter, because I was messing around on somebody's Twitter feed, and they had Periscoped. Well, it was more than 24 hours old, and it was just a blank blue screen. Right. It said this video is no longer available because it's gone. It's not even available on Twitter.
Oh, because it was already up 24 hours.
It was gone, yeah.
Oh, man.
So the tweet was still there.
Right.
But the
video's
box,
not playable.
It was just a blank blue box.
Dude, I'm not liking that.
I know. There needs to be a way that if you want to keep it...
It's your personal stuff. Well, but you did it on your own phone, so you'd already have it. Oh, no, it's not on your...
It's in the they call that the cloud. The cloud. Back in the day, they called it the ether.
Right. I know. I use those old terms. Just
How old are you?
I just graduated.
Oh, well, you know.
From high school.
When I was in college, in one of our math classes, we had a 70-year-old in there. Yeah. It was kind of awkward because we were all... Like, I thought I was the old man because I was in the military.
Right.
So when I got out and went to college, I was 22. I was the old man. So everybody in my class was 18, and then we had a 74-year-old. Looked like
took the heat off
Bernie
you.
Sanders' wife or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So out of speaking about the WikiLeaks that happened this week, Grucifer 2.0 apparently had hit. And since we brought up WikiLeaks, I just want to give you the top WikiLeaks. They've been scoured through, and there's stuff. I mean, 20,000 emails, thousands of emails. It's hard to scour through it all so fast, but a lot of people have. And this is like the top 10 list, if you will, of WikiLeaks titles of emails. Okay. So we'll go from the bottom to the top. DNC members poking fun at employees who be gay.
Who be gay?
Yeah, that was part of an email.
Does that show up on?
No.
Okay.
Super PAC paying young voters to push back online. Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
Pushing
back against Bernie Sanders.
Right. The Super PAC paying young people to push back. DNC discussing their relationships with NBC, MSNBC, CNN, and how to get better treatment.
Okay.
You need to
get better treatment from the media.
The three left-wing branch of the
three competing arms of the propaganda arms of the Democrat Party.
Right. DNC members going to complain to Morning Joe producers about his mentioning of a rigged system.
Well, I mean, if there's facts, first of all, before the WikiLeaks came out, it really was largely speculation. You know, human beings have this really amazing ability to draw conclusions based on circumstantial evidence.
Right.
And a lot of times, these human beings are actually correct in their assumptions.
Very, very, very correct.
But at the end of the day, we really didn't have a whole heck of a lot of hard evidence, hard empirical proof. That's what empirical evidence is, just proof. We just really didn't have it. Then WikiLeaks happened. Now we have it. We have absolute hard empirical proof that the DNC is working with the media to help get Hillary elected.
Right. So this is from WikiLeaks. This is the top emails. DNC Hillary supporters infiltrating Sanders campaign. And by the way, after these leaks came out, and you hear what's going on here, Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to step down because the emails showed
that's amazing
that she was beating down Bernie, and she was actually trying to make him look incompetent by not filing paperwork properly.
Well, yeah, and that wasn't because...
Or timely.
Well, here's the beauty part of that WikiLeaks email. It had nothing to do with whether or not he was doing the paperwork right or not. All it was saying was make it look like he's incompetent by saying that.
Sure.
Literally.
Sure.
That's what the email said. It didn't say, hey, guys, I just found out that Bernie Sanders has been really negligent on his paperwork. We should use this. We should use this to our advantage.
Right.
By exposing it to the public so that it brands him as somebody that's kind of disheveled and unorganized and not very serious and unprofessional. No. That's not what we're talking about. What we're saying is let's make up that he is unorganized, disheveled, and all that, and we'll say a lie to back it up.
Right.
So it's just made up, and they're passing this around through emails to the media, back to the DNC, back and forth. Like, how can we work together to make this happen?
And something else that was just the DNC left-wing nut jobs. These people are children who never grew up mentally. I kind of came up with that on my own, but if you can imagine,
did you remember that one video we saw a long time ago?
Oh, you think I recalled something from the past?
I think you're plagiarizing.
Wow! Which one was it?
The Heritage Foundation. Guy had like a 90-minute video on YouTube, and it eventually went pretty viral.
Okay.
And he said that Democrats are like 5-year-olds.
Okay.
That they want to create a world where you can just be a 5-year-old for the rest of your life.
Sure.
Yeah, that was the whole premise of the video.
Okay. Well,
but he went on to give evidence to that being the fact.
Okay. Well, I just kind of threw that out there because if you think about it, look at a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old child, and my daughter's 8, and she's kind of, I can see her graduating and growing out of that stage. But like a 6 or 7-year-old, man, they don't want to grow up. They don't want to mentally. They have this mental block, like it's just them and it's only them, and the most obvious of lies to them seem very plausible. Oh yeah, I'll just
really?
I'll just tell them the dog ate my paper. Right, that'll fly.
Oh, you mean they're about to tell a lie?
Right,
and they think that it's going to fly.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, you know what my daughter said to me the other day?
Uh-oh.
She said, I really don't like your stories, Daddy. And I was like, what's wrong with my stories? I'm thinking, I'm really bad at this.
Right.
And I need to work on it.
Yeah, right.
Turns out, she said, the reason I don't like your stories is because this is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. You ready for this?
Okay.
She said that the reason your stories are boring is because there's nothing in it that's made up. You got to get creative.
Dude, you got to protect her from falling down down the libs.
But she knows when they're made up, but
Right.
she likes the creativity of it.
You know, that's funny.
Isn't that weird?
You can make an argument about that with the Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean,
how creative they are with the lies about history and what happened.
My favorite movies. If you looked at a list of my top 50 favorite movies, ones that I consider to be really good, really quality, just my favorite, probably 30 to 40 of those 50 are going to be based on a true story.
Yes. No, I'm with you.
So, I mean, my daughter would be like, no, I want total fantasy, whatever.
Well, we're talking about kids.
Right, it's different.
The Democrats are kids that haven't mentally grown up. Their bodies are... It's like Tom Hanks in the movie Big.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he is a grown adult.
I need to revisit that movie because as a kid, the reason he became an adult was because he wished he was.
Yes.
So it's not like a kid that just wants to be a kid the rest of his life. In a way, there's a message there. So here's a kid that wants to be an adult, but the message is you're going to be so unhappy there. You're going to want nothing more than to go back and become a kid.
Right.
What's the message there? That you should just go ahead and be a kid the whole the rest of your life.
Forever.
Forever. But it was the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something about the 80s.
The 80s were
so right wing.
It's like the baby boomers and the hippies forced people in the 80s to try and pull the e-brake on their craziness.
You're forgetting something, though. Back in the 80s, there was a ton of Greatest Generation. They were all in their 60s.
Oh, right. Help. You're thinking like helping to produce some of the movies.
Well, look at the older generation now. Now imagine if those were all World War II vets.
Right.
So they're everywhere. I mean, a vast majority of the mature people in society are World War II vets.
Right.
They were disturbed by the counterculture. And Reagan was the response to that. They were like, whoa, we're done with this counterculture stuff. We're going to elect somebody to fix this.
Clean this
and
up.
that's where Reagan came from. He was elected by World War II veterans.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Do not think for a half a second that he was elected by baby boomers.
No, and I agree.
That
Absolutely
did not
agree.
happen. So that being said, 80s, very right wing.
Yes.
Some of the movies had messages in them that were so they were right of center or sometimes far right, and it's stunning because there are no movies out.
Okay, well, let's take the obvious one that just proves our point. This is a point prover right here, folks. 1980s versus today. 1980s gave us Ghostbusters.
Oh, Ghostbusters is one of the most right-wing movies of all time.
Capitalist, work hard, have a dream, fulfill that dream by producing a service that is in extreme demand.
All right, here's the plot. Without
and you receive exponential amounts of money and recognition for your hard work, ingenuity, ingeniousness, and service.
Right. So tell me if this sounds right wing or not. You got a group of guys that are working as tenured university scientists, working at a university. Okay, so right off the bat, we're left wing. They get fired from there. I don't think they were tenured because they got fired. They get fired.
There was a reason when they got fired because they didn't fit. Dude, they did not fit the left wing Professor Mold.
Or at least they didn't. They probably did.
And then Bill Murray's antics were a bit shady.
Right. So what happened was they were like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to go into the private sector." There's a scene. There's a scene where they come out of a bank having just got a loan when they realize they can privatize and turn into a capitalist business.
Yeah.
Their ghost capturing service.
Right.
And he comes out of this bank having been totally ripped off by the bank because his interest rates were like 30%.
Yeah,
APR.
The standard.
Right, the standard for back then. And so they go, and of course they're struggling. They have to buy this junky car, the old hearse. And they rent this old firehouse, and they got ripped off by the realtor.
Right.
And then it got to the point where they almost were out of money. They were about to go out of business, and then finally, hotel got haunted. The place takes off. They get free marketing. They get interviewed.
3 feet from gold. Right there, 3 feet from gold.
Yeah. It was very well demonstrated. Very well demonstrated. But here's another cool thing. Guess who the enemy was? Everybody thinks, oh, it's the ghost, right? No, the ghost was just the part of the. It's an extermination service,
right? It's like cockroaches.
Yeah, the cockroaches aren't the enemy; they just are part of the story.
Right.
The enemy was the EPA.
Oh, you mean the government?
The government.
The government.
So the EPA comes in, and this is at the peak of their popularity. Their business is booming. They're making all this money, and the EPA comes in and says, I don't think this is on the up and up, and I want to know what's going on in there, and I think that you guys are breaking laws. And they're like, no, we're not. And they're like, well, we'll shut it down. And say, no, you can't shut it down. All the ghosts will get out. And then the whole thing, they finally made him. They get a court order. They actually kicked him out.
Right.
They kicked him out the first time. He comes back with a court order.
Did he flip the switch and let all the ghosts out?
Yes. Yeah. That was the second time. And so they had to get out by convincing the mayor of the city that their private organization is going to save the city. And they do. It's a very right-wing movie. Very, very right-wing. A lot of people do not realize. It's a free market. It's a movie where free market capitalism triumphs over the evil, oppressive bureaucracy.
Right.
That's what it is.
So let's fast forward to today. What movie would I compare that to today?
You mean the new Ghostbusters?
Yes!
Oh, no. They can't possibly get this right.
The new Ghostbusters was so pathetically written because they attempted to literally copy and paste the old story and just change little tidbits to it to make it an all-girl version that were sloppily dressed 15-year-old looking boys that just it didn't work. They didn't melt.
We got to be careful because this is why Milo got kicked off of Twitter. A lot of people don't realize that.
He's gone from Twitter, banned for life.
I'll never forget. He talked about Ghostbusters before he went to go see it, and he blasted it. His company, which is he works for Breitbart, said, we want you to go to the movie so that you could review it and write an article. So Breitbart sent him to Ghostbusters.
Right.
He took a picture of the marquee sign before going in and tweeted it, and it blew up. Everybody was like, no, what are you doing? No. Don't patronize him. Don't pay. And he put on there, no, I got to write an article. It'll be out tomorrow. Well, of course, he just blasted it. And he blasted the actresses in it.
He said he made a very, very hard attempt to keep an open mind and to not be biased.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay.
But the blood began to shoot out of his eyes and everywhere.
And wherever.
Oh, wherever. So the movie just became god-awful because, as we said, the original Ghostbusters left the government, if you will, which is the universities. They're paid for by the government. Left the government, got into the private sector, became wealthy, and showed how that process happened. And that's the American dream.
Yeah, they did.
The new American dream is that they needed at the end of the movie, they needed the government to finance and fund them.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Like a welfare ticket.
So isn't it poetic justice that it bombed so severely? And the original Ghostbusters, I'm not 100% sure if anybody was really sure that was going to take off and be the big hit that it was. But it turned out to be a blockbuster. If you guys weren't alive or don't remember, 84, I guess, when it came out. 85, 84, 83,
right around there.
Something like that. It was blockbuster. Everybody was talking about Ghostbusters when it came out. My parents, I grew up poor. We grew up po because we couldn't afford the OR.
Yeah.
So we didn't go to movies ever. Like very, very rarely did I ever get a chance to enjoy going to the theater. I can count on on one hand how many times my dad took me to the theater. We did go to Ghostbusters. I think they broke down and fell for the peer pressure and decided, well, we better go take the kids to see Ghostbusters. And so it was one of the very few movies I got to see in the theater.
Okay. Released in June of '84, receiving a positive response from critics and audiences and grossing $242 million in the United States and more than $295 million worldwide, nominated for 2 Oscars at the 57th Academy Award, Best Visual Effects, Original Song.
It wasn't even an original song, by the way.
It lost to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom,
which was a terrible movie. What lost to it by what? You mean the Academy Award?
Yeah.
You mean that thing almost won an Academy Award?
Ghostbusters almost did.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I knew it was a big blockbuster, but you know what? Blockbusters don't necessarily translate into those kinds of awards. That's a shame that he didn't get that.
The American Film Institute ranked Ghostbusters at 28th of its 100 years, of the last 100 years, of 28th of 100 laughs of the last 100 years. So they took the last 100 years, all the comedy movies, and ranked them.
Okay.
Out of 100, Ghostbusters is 28th.
That's not bad for all the movies for the past 100 years. Well, all the comedies.
Right, all the comedy movies for the past 100 years.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny, but yeah, I'll tell you what. There's something about that movie when they get to the point where the business of catching ghosts actually starts working. You get that feeling of euphoria of, wow, I'm living vicariously through them. The American dream. And what is the American dream? Using free market capitalism to succeed and be wealthy. Be wealthy, right?
Right.
Go from rags to riches. And you don't get there through socialism.
No, you don't.
And government grants.
And I'm not sure how much was spent on making the movie.
It's probably in there somewhere. But no, I think it was profitable.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. No. Oh, they're saying it in today's dollars. This has been updated. Today's dollars would be $525 million.
Yeah, it was a big blockbuster. Really
okay,
big.
So the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Empty theaters is what I heard.
The crickets in the theaters. However, somebody's paying for it. They're hitting $40 million. However, in today's money, $40 million for a movie that you spent $250 million on it with advertising. I think that was somewhat over $200 million with advertising.
I know they were pushing the advertising really hard. I think some of the fast food joints were giving away the toys and stuff like that for the movie. And I think Progressive Auto Insurance. That's what this hour is brought to you by.
Oh, wow.
They had a commercial that had the ghosts and whatever her name is.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a big push.
Okay,
definitely.
So some of the websites out there that review movies are saying that Sony is looking at losing anywhere from 150 to 200 million.
Now, Brian, you got to explain to the audience this because this is fascinating to me. You kind of lived in the industry a little bit. You made it sound like the reason they're pumping out these movies like this is because they don't ever lose money. Like, you make a movie and you make money, period.
Okay. Well, Sony is a different story in itself.
Okay.
Sony started. They bought their way in. They bought out MGM, and bought their way into the business of movie making, and they were hemorrhaging money for like 10, 15 years. There was nothing, and literally the people at the top that were pumping the money in to prop up Sony Studios said, if you don't come out with something good and phenomenal, then we're going to have to pull the ripcord on this thing.
Wow. That sounds similar to the story of 20th Century Fox.
Might have been.
Right before Star Wars in 77. They were almost got the plug pulled on them, and they went all in on this weird space opera.
So guess what was Sony's ripcord? Their parachute.
What was that?
Spider-Man.
Really?
Spider-Man saved Sony for the next 10 years.
And that was a really weird timed event. I still to this day have not seen that Spider-Man. You're talking about the original one, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean the one with the boy and
the first one that they did.
The boy.
Yeah. Right. Not from the 30s.
No.
Not the cartoon from the early 80s.
Dude, you can't find that anywhere.
I think YouTube might have a couple episodes.
I've looked for them.
Really?
I can't find
them.
them.
They're really bad. They're so bad. They're like badder than bad.
I watched them every morning.
So did we. We all did, but they were bad. So anyway, the thing about the Spider-Man one, it was really weird because nobody expected it because it was right after 9/11.
Right.
It released it like in, 2002? Early?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire.
Thank you, Mr. Producer. You're late on that one.
Yeah. Sometimes
could have used that 3 minutes ago.
Well, we didn't tell him we were going to be talking all about Spider-Man in this episode.
Right.
So we're going to be talking about Russia here really soon.
So in 2002.
Yeah. It was right after 9/11.
9/11.
And everybody thought, oh, this is going to be a big flop. Nobody wants to see theater anything in theaters. For all you young millennials that don't know anything about this thing called 9/11.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird. There were football games canceled. Nobody was going to theaters. Everything was put into perspective. So going to a movie was like, I don't know, are people going to be insulted by a hero story? Well, it turns out
that's what everybody wanted.
Well,
because everybody was looking for a hero,
right? And Tobey Maguire played a normal person. He didn't play a superhero. He was a normal person,
right?
Who got into leotards, and it really resonated with the right audience.
Then that was acceptable.
It was acceptable at the time,
and now everybody's doing it.
I give it 2 snaps up. Fabulous!
Oh my goodness! So
anyway.
we got off on that thing. No, the thing about movies is that movies nowadays, it's clear what they're doing when they do sequels. You know what they're doing.
Yeah, just dragging money out of your pocket.
That's all it is. And a lot of times sequels will make money and they'll keep the gravy train going. Even if they break even.
Turns into a franchise.
You still have money going and go. If you spend $100 million on making The Princess Bride Part 19... you spend $100 million and you get $100 million back. Well, everybody keeps getting paid and you keep the train going in the hopes that one movie, that Spider-Man, that Indiana Jones, that Star Wars, that one movie will pop up, and it does. It'll eventually pop up, and when it does, it will pave the way for your studio for the next decade.
Right. It actually saves the studio and for the next decade.
Well, and think about Star Wars for the next probably century, for 100 years. Star Wars,
20th Century Fox,
and the entire drug out over 30 years. You
want to hear something funny? There were several other studios that rejected it. They're like, I don't think.
How are they feeling about it now?
20th Century Fox. You want to hear something even funnier?
No.
They ran it with, I think not E.T. No, that what came out in that 77? They went side by side with another movie, and they thought that Star Wars was just going to come in with some residual. The other one was the headliner.
Wow.
I don't even remember what movie it was. The other movie was supposed to be the big headliner, and then Star Wars was supposed to drag in some extras. And turns out it became the biggest phenomenon. So anyway.
This is by thenumbers.com. They rank movies, and they say the latest Star Wars installments earned $96 million over the weekend for an international total of $770 million.
Wow.
Its worldwide total rose $1.5 billion.
So how much do they... See, that's the kind of movie that when you're ready to produce it, money is no object because you know you're going to recoup it all back.
But you got to have financiers and things on the back. See, you actually have to play capitalism first.
You have to go and ask people for money.
Right. Once you get that, once you dupe them into it, you sell them.
It's a guarantee on that. I just need $1.5 billion because we're going to make $1.7 billion.
Right.
So that's $200 million we get to keep.
Well, it's
too much.
And
because you're making a movie for $1 billion.
Oh, that's insane. and in order to, and the prospects, the people that you get money from, that pool of people is very small. Because according to the FCC, you have to be an accredited investor, which means you have to be worth $1 million or more.
And what would the purpose of that regulation be?
Oh, we want to protect the poor people from investing.
What? We want to protect the poor people in case it's a bad investment, and then they'll be on the street.
Right. Rich people can invest, poor people can't.
Oh my gosh, that is a Democrat mindset right there, flat out.
Well, I mean, the FTC, they do what they want. I mean, it's a government thing. So anyways, all right, let's pull it all the way back. Let's get back to what we originally were talking about. And we got off on this tangent because we were talking about the liberal mindset. It's like a 5-year-old child who is physically grown up, but never mentally grown up. So all these WikiLeaks emails that have come out are so obvious and so ridiculously retarded. I mean, mentally, there's some kind of brain damage over there. One of the people emailing back and forth said, "Oh, we're locked out of our servers again. We're locked out of our email again. Okay, here's what we'll do. I'll email you the new password. And when you get the new password, forward that new password on to others." They apparently did this multiple times, all while the hackers were watching the new passwords and new password changes. What? I don't get this, man. So, okay. DNC conspiring to create false Trump information and release it to Reuters. Yeah.
Isn't Reuters, are we going to talk about Reuters' latest poll?
It's because it's a good poll for Trump, right? Or does it coincide with the email scandal?
Well, I think it was a twofer. There were two polls. One initially came out just hey, let's just throw some questions out there. We'll get some people, some responses, sample size, whatever, and then we'll have our poll, just like every other poll, right?
Right.
It was after the conventions, and turns out there was a shift to where Donald Trump gained 9 points, I think.
Correct.
Which brought him from a 7-point deficit up to a 2-point lead over Clinton. Very quickly, the Soros money must have been pumped in through a duffel bag.
Had to have been.
Right. And that caused Reuters to say, how can we do this? I know. Let's tweak some of the requirements and different things of the poll.
See, Kerry,
samples.
Yeah, you don't understand. There are more Democrats in America in general. So in order to get an accurate poll, they need to poll more 60% Democrats and 40% Republicans. That's how they get in their mind. This is the childlike mind. That's how they get.
Well, they know Reuters is the type of organization that knows exactly what's really going on, and all they're doing is what they have to satisfy the requirements of their boss,
the powers that be,
which is Soros.
Right.
And and the reason Clinton's so powerful and why she can give orders to Reuters is because she is the middleman for the money from George Soros to Reuters.
She is the middle, the hegemony of. She's like if you took an old-fashioned spoked wheel or a bicycle tire with spokes on it. She's the hub of the money because she gets the money funneling in from some of the spokes, which might be other international companies, governments, other entities, and then the money funnels through the Clinton Foundation and then back out to the people that need to spread the correct information.
Propaganda.
Propaganda.
And also, here's another good analogy. This money can't just be handed to somebody as a regular transaction.
No, if Hillary wrote a check or was found out writing checks to people.
Right. So what it has to be done is what we call in the industry laundering.
Yeah, you have to stick it in a washing machine.
Now, the Clinton Crime Foundation is a laundromat.
Oh!
It has the machines in it. That's why
okay.
That's her middleman pitch. Oh, this is laundering, and you need a laundromat, and I am the laundromat.
You need the most efficient, the largest, the safest laundromat you can find because when your money's getting washed, you want to know that it all comes out clean and none of it's missing.
So you launder money, you wash it in order to brainwash the masses.
Correct.
It's very poetic.
It is poetic. So some of the other emails that were found in the WikiLeaks, DNC requesting to pull an MSNBC commentary segment. There's a commentary segment, and they're saying that you need to pull that, but don't air it. DNC telling each other, "I love you too, homo."
Homo?
Yeah, it's a little...
Is the guy gay?
No, it's a little joke they have at the DNC.
But is the guy gay?
I don't know. They didn't...
Sometimes, like Milo calls himself the dangerous faggot.
Right. Okay, well, maybe.
So,
what about this one?
I mean, so if it's two gay guys at the DNC, maybe they just lovingly call each other homo, whatever.
Okay, it's possible. What about this one? DNC making fun of black women's first names.
In what capacity?
The exotic first names.
Sometimes hard to pronounce and stuff like that.
Very difficult to pronounce. Shaniqua, Shataka.
Oh, by the way, that rumor,
Yeah.
Famali, is not real.
Famali?
You never heard that?
No.
It's a joke we all heard as a kid. That because the black culture definitely has different first names than other cultures. Just like Asian people tend to have first names that you're not going to hear.
Ping pong ting tong tong.
Something like that.
Buddy of mine. I
work
work with. Yeah.
It's his real name.
Yeah, we call him Ping.
Ping. Okay. I mean, because there may actually be some pings out there.
It's possible.
Like Kim is an Asian male name. You wouldn't call...
But America...
Well, even in America. But like a European descendant type, but you wouldn't call that Kim. That'd be a girl.
Right.
Yeah, so anyway. So, Famali. The joke was that at the hospital... the nurse or whatever wrote female or something on the bed or whatever. And the mother looked at it and then they said, that's yours right there. And she read the side of the bed, said female, and she thought it said Famali. And so she thought that the hospital named her child.
So she rolled with it.
Right, and the joke that everybody would say was that they had a friend that was in school named Famali, or they knew so they had a classmate or something like that named Famali, and that's how they got their name. But the whole thing's fake. There's no such thing as a girl named Famali.
That is hysterical. How about DNC members killing horses for insurance money?
What?
Yeah.
Killing horses for insurance.
Having horses.
I've never heard of wrecking your car.
They're wrecking horses. Like if a horse.
They Amish?
Well, I would imagine that they're prized horses because you take insurance out on them.
Okay.
And so
I thought they're like driving on the road trying to wreck their horse.
So next time you're in the middle of Ohio,
the horse is in the wrong lane. It's a head-on collision.
It must be a European horse, maybe from England.
It's from Japan.
He didn't know.
It's a Japanese horse.
Right. Democrats using interns to organize fake protests. We knew that, but now this is factual.
We've been saying this for years, but I'm going to be honest with you. If you're going to be truthful, I'm going to be truthful right now. I really just had to tell you that based on logic. I really didn't have hard evidence. It was all circumstantial. It seemed like it. It felt like it. And we reported it like, man, it sure seems like this stuff is all turf,
right?
AstroTurf.
Right.
Well, now you've got the smoking gun.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And
there you go.
DNC consultants consistently calling Megyn Kelly a bimbo.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were calling her.
Yes, consistent. Yeah.
Weren't they the ones that were blowing up
They
Trump?
were the ones saying that Trump's bimbo eruptions. It's bimbo eruptions.
No, bimbo eruptions was Hillary.
Hillary.
No,
Trump calling people calling specifically
Heidi?
I'm not sure who he called.
Okay,
bimbo.
here's what he did. He retweeted somebody using the word bimbo. That's all he did.
Right, and the DNC consultants are like, hey, we call Megyn Kelly bimbo all the time. Let's say Trump does it.
Well, Trump did. That's right. He retweeted somebody's tweet calling Megyn Kelly a
However,
bimbo.
that doesn't mean he called her that.
He should have wrote in his profile that retweets don't mean endorsement. Because a lot of people actually do that.
Right. Well, you had to school me on it.
Well, it turns out a lot of people retweet stuff that they don't necessarily endorse because they might be so outraged by it that they retweet it to expose them. Maybe that's what Trump should have said. Oh, well, I was just exposing that for its meanness.
The hypocrisies. Something. This one of the lines in one of the emails. Some chick is angry. She hasn't been given more stuff from the Obama administration. Might be interesting to follow up on. Kind of weird that you would pinpoint and cherry pick individuals, but that's what they do. Try and get a good story out, I imagine. Clinton Foundation quid pro quo worries are lingering, will be exploited in the general. So they're talking in emails, hey, by the way, Clinton, that pay-to-play thing, that scratch-your-back, we're starting to get nervous about it, and we think that's going to be exploited here in the general election. So just give you a heads up.
Okay.
So that literally confirms that there is a quid pro quo. And then the last couple of ones, Politico writer sending his stories to the DNC before he sends them to his editor. The DNC gets the writer's stories, then the writer gets them back and sends them to his editor.
DNC gets the story to the...
I write it. The Politico writer, he writes the story.
Yeah.
Emails it to the DNC. They look it over and edit it, send it back. Then he takes it and gives the copy to his editor as if it was his paper complete.
So it's been censored.
Ghostwriting.
Well, no. It's more importantly, it's been censored by the proper people.
Yes.
It's like Gestapo tactics.
Hillary.
That's exactly what they were doing.
Hitler was doing that.
Hitler,
Oh, yeah.
Russia under Stalin, and oh my gosh, you look at North Korea and Mao's China and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
If you wanted to be involved in something like journalism in this, and I'm sure they have newspapers there, you would have to get everything you did double, triple, quadruple approved by the state. Well, isn't that kind of stink of that Gestapo tactics when you think about WikiLeaks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Creating fake job ads for Trump business to paint him as a sexist. This was insane. I read them.
Is this the Craigslist one?
This is a little different.
Okay.
What they
the Craigslist one was, my sister was the only one that reported that.
And well, we reported it on Facebook. We put it up on
put it up
Facebook.
there? Okay, I didn't know if you did
put
that
it
or
up
not.
on Twitter too.
But nobody else. Nobody
Right.
else knows that.
Now
My
that's-
sister, by the way, she's been independently scouring these emails.
Right.
And she's reported to us several that you won't hear anywhere else.
No, and that's what we were talking about before. They were trying to fill the seats with $50 a day actors and actresses on Craigslist. And then somebody found a Craigslist ad. I'm a reporter. I'm looking to talk to anybody who responded to the Craigslist ad for filling a seat.
Yeah, okay.
So apparently someone claiming to be a reporter was trying to dig into that to find out how real that was.
Were they actually a reporter?
Who knows? No,
It could have been a DNC operative. Check this out. If you're the DNC, this is how diabolical this all is. Imagine you're a DNC person and you're like, man, what are we going to do about this? The RNC knows about our Craigslist ad.
Because it was so, I didn't think about that.
That they might
that we
actually
find
see it.
out. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do about this? I got it. We'll put a fake reporter out looking for anybody who is willing to talk to him about being a paid Craigslist actor. And we'll just have him come back and say he didn't find anybody.
Okay.
And that'll verify
It's
that
bogus.
the Craigslist
Right.
thing was all big bogus thing that was written up by the RNC.
That is
It's
hysterical.
called counterintelligence.
Counterintelligence.
Yes, a double agent, if you will.
With the one on Trump, they put out, and it was so hysterical that it didn't catch on, and that's why they kind of dumped it. But the email that they were putting out, it was everything that, if you look at Trump through the eyes of a liberal,
it's
sexist,
hilarious.
bigotist, homophobe, just
Oh.
everything. The job description says Need sexy intern.
Oh, God.
Wait, your weight.
You don't have it in front of you? I should find it real quick.
Your weight will be restricted. There are weight restrictions.
Oh.
Don't be upset.
I'll actually find the daggone
Don't be
thing.
upset if you're...
Because it is too hilarious not to read it verbatim.
Okay, so while you look for that, I'll go through a couple of the last ones. DNC WikiLeaks, possible money laundering by moving money back and forth to bypass legal limits. What Dinesh D'Souza went to jail for was less than that. And then the top one, the number one, racist DNC refers to Latino outreach as Taco Bowl engagement. Brings up Sanders' religion to scare the Southern voters. So that's a twofold. They call the DNC refers to Latino outreach as Taco Bowl engagement. And then they want to bring up Sanders' religion to scare the Southern voters. So I'm not sure what his religion is. I don't know if that was ever brought up.
I assumed that he was going to either be atheist or Jewish because I know his heritage is Jewish, but
he's anti-Semitic. He's not down with the Jews at all.
Well, and that doesn't surprise me either. And the main reason is he's a Democrat.
He went to as a child. He went to a communist camp in over in the Middle East. I don't know if it was in Israel or around there. Couldn't have been the state of Israel because it wasn't made yet. But
in the early 60s.
Isn't he like 110?
Probably.
Okay.
He looks like it.
So when he was younger, I know he went to these camps, these commune camps that taught you anti-Jewish stuff.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready to hear this email?
All right. Hit it.
So, I want to find the top of this thing. Okay. So, we have please bump this to comms for approval, please.
Okay. I'm bumping it to comms.
So, this is a fake Craigslist job post for women who want to apply to jobs, one of Trump's organizations. This will be a microsite, and we still need to send it to Perkins, who's one of the people that would approve of something like this.
Correct.
Since we will be pitching this, need your approval, please. Thanks. So here is the actual posting. Multiple positions in the New York City area. Seeking staff members for multiple positions in a large New York-based corporation known for its real estate investments, fake universities, steaks, and wine.
These are children coming up with these ideas.
This isn't even an attempt to be realistic.
But
it's real because this is from WikiLeaks, who got it from hacked servers of the DNC.
Right.
All right, so that's not the end of it. The boss has very strict standards for female employees, ranging from the women who take lunch orders, and in parentheses, must be hot, to the women who oversee multi-million-dollar construction projects, in parentheses, must maintain hotness demonstrated at the time of hiring.
Yeah, so if you get hired in and you're hired in, when you actually start the job, you got to stay hot.
Okay, so here's the title.
Yeah, okay.
This is serious.
Okay.
I can't even believe this. I can't believe this. The title of the job is Honey Bunch.
Correct.
And in parentheses, that's what the boss will call you. Job requirements. Number 1, no gaining weight on the job, parentheses, will take some before pictures when you start to use later as evidence.
Oh, Lord.
Number 2, must be open to public humiliation and open press workouts if you do gain weight on the job.
Yikes.
Number 3, a willingness to evaluate other women's hotness for the boss's satisfaction is a plus.
Holy smoke.
And number 4, should be proficient in lying about your age if the boss thinks you're too old. Working mothers not preferred. Parentheses, the boss finds pumping breast milk disgusting.
Yes.
And worries they're too focused on their children. About us. We're proud to maintain a, quote, fun and friendly work environment where the boss is always available to meet with his employees. Like it or not, he may greet you with a kiss on the lips.
Yes.
Or grope you under the meeting table.
Oh, man.
Interested applicants should send resume, cover letter, and headshot to jobs@trump.com.
What the hell just happened?
Okay, so that's the
man.
actual Craigslist. Now check out the next email to that. Okay, so we need approval, and the question was, here we go. Need approval for it right away, right? So the answer to that email was, as long as all the offensive S-word crap, if you want to, is verbatim, I'm fine with it. So it had been approved. Only if the most offensive stuff
is enough. I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Everybody strap in. I'm about to open some windows.
So the last email in response to, as long as all the offensive blank is verbatim, I'm fine with it. The last email was, yes, it is.
Oh, man.
That's what we're dealing with.
Right.
That's what you allow to take over the country when you vote a Democrat as president.
Right. No.
And you know how I know that's
100%.
an absolute fact? I'm almost stealing, plagiarizing the words of Gary Byrne, who worked for several years right outside the White House of the Clinton Oval Office. And he said, it was the biggest joke you've ever seen. They were terrible. It corroborates everything that they're complaining about the Democrat Party, or I should say Hillary Clinton, with regards to like the inability to safeguard top secret documents, either in reality or on open servers subject to hacking. Because he stated in his book that all throughout the 90s, it wasn't just the Clintons, it was all the staff. Everybody who worked in the Oval Office left classified documents strewn about, and they would leave at night. They would clock out and go home. And they would leave classified documents laid out all over the place.
What was that thing that you were telling me about the nuke codes?
Oh, that was breaking news from Sean Hannity.
Oh, my goodness.
So, was that Friday? I think that was Friday, right?
Man, you lit me up. I had because you were helping me.
So
that day.
if you had the benefit of listening to Sean Hannity on Friday,
he had back on.
He had Gary Byrne, but he had two other people on.
Okay, because he had the exclusive first interview with Gary.
The
Byrne.
very first one.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. He had a big one. He had like a 40-minute interview with Gary Byrne on TV, the TV interview. Yeah, it was long. Normally, when you're on TV, your interviews are like 5 minutes. They ask you a couple questions, they try to stump you,
and
they're like, "When we come back," well, and then they're off, right? But this is like a 40-minute on-air interview.
Can I hold you over for the break again?
Yeah, that's radio. Okay, I know we've been talking for 6 hours.
I need to hold you over. I got one more
interrogation. Anyway, so Gary Byrne, but then there were two other people on. I can't remember who they were. The woman was a pro-Hillary person, and she was just outnumbered.
Wow.
But the other guy that was with Gary Byrne, he's also with Sean Hannity at the same time. He said that Bill Clinton lost the nuke codes, and he wasn't even able to determine how long he had them missing. Could have been hours, days, or even weeks. That they just had the nuke codes were just totally missing. He had them. Now, he did admit that all presidents have them just in a pocket in their coat because they have to have them on their persons at all time.
Okay.
So a lot of times it'd be like on an interior pocket or whatnot in their suit. Bill Clinton had them rubber banded onto a stack of credit cards.
He is such an Arkansas hillbilly.
That's some hillbilly stuff right there.
And not to offend any hillbillies
from
Arkansas.
We're not talking about you.
No. We're talking just about Clinton.
The other guy.
Yeah.
So he lost them, and he ended up telling the guy and now don't get mad at me, and I need you to please keep this secret from the press, but
don't tell them.
I had no idea where these codes are. No idea.
So when'd you lose them?
I'm not really 100% sure. Well, was it like an hour ago? Was it? No, it was definitely before that. Well, was it like yesterday? Did you have them yesterday?
I'm not sure.
To be honest with you, the last time I definitely saw them was like last June.
Right.
But sir, it's November.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Well, we could fix this, right? We sweep it under the rug.
Right.
So he had to scramble.
Wow, that's insane.
And he had to go out of his way to protect the president from the media and all that.
That's insanity. So just kind of in relation to Trump and what happened over the week and the weekend, Trump came out and said, he came out in a press. Well, I'll tell you what, I've got that sound clip. This has to do with what we're talking about. And Trump,
what?
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press. Let's see if that happens.
Okay, so that came out this weekend, and the libs went ape, screaming that Donald Trump, is coming out, and this is unprecedented. This is the first time ever. Well, Trump, he taunted Hillary.
Taunted the media, too.
Yeah, it was a big taunt. There's no question about it. But
he was making fun of the media.
I don't know if this is if he just mentally gets on a roll, and then he's so sharp he can close the deal, or he's been closing deals, making deals and closing deals so long, this just comes natural to him. So he throws this out there, taunts her, and then all of a sudden he finally forced Clinton's campaign to admit that her unsanctioned email server, the whole scheme, was actually a national security issue. See, that's something that they've avoided this entire time, that this was a national security issue, because she wouldn't admit that whatsoever. So here's what her campaign came out with, their statement. Their statement says, this has to be the first time that a major presidential candidate has actively encouraged a foreign power to conduct espionage against his political opponent. That's not hyperbole. Those are just the facts. This has gone from being a matter of curiosity and a matter of politics to being a national security issue. Yes, folks, Hillary Clinton just admitted that her emails are a national security issue, which means she should have gone to prison.
Oh, absolutely.
She should have gone to jail at the very minimum. Like, I don't understand this. What? And Trump even said it best. He said, because of the system that we're in, this rigged system, it's so rigged that it would keep somebody like her out of prison. And on the two campaigns, because DNC closed their convention this week versus Trump's convention, Judge Jeanine, as she always does, and I love her to death, she came out and she kind of juxtaposed to talk about the two different camps and how both of them played out. And here's a clip from her real quick.
The Democratic National Committee's convention in Philadelphia was about lovely ideas. It was about unity and inclusion and global humanity, concepts that we're stronger together. Cue the birds and the butterflies and that law library love story of Hillary and Bull. Oh, sorry. Hillary and Bill. It sounded so sweet. They're all wonderful themes.
Real quick, if you didn't catch it, it was disgusting and vomitous the way Bill rolled on this whole story about him and Hillary and love, and I knew this,
oh my gosh,
love and
flat
my
out.
knife. And
their relationship is a business transaction.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But without addressing whether you can even believe a word that comes out of Hillary's mouth, that kumbaya stuff has absolutely nothing to do with being a leader. A leader is one who drives the economy, creates a strong national defense, and is painstakingly honest. So pull your heads out of the sand and snap out of it. A leader is someone who protects you, who sets the stage so you can make a living and feed your family. What does this kumbaya fest have to do with the crisis that is facing Americans today? And whether you like him or not, Donald Trump talks about real issues. Hillary says he paints a dark, divisive picture of an America in decline. But ask yourselves, are you better off? Do you feel safer than you were before these two got into power? Is America more united than it was? Are race relations better? Is police esteem anywhere near where it was 8 years ago? It was during those Obama-Clinton years that 22 veterans a day committed suicide, not even able to make an appointment with a doctor.
Do we forget about that? How about Donald Trump's 10-point plan to put the VA back in play? Look at all these plans that he's putting out on the table. Hillary ain't put out a plan.
Yeah, when he starts talking about the VA in detail and just in general during the debates, I don't know how she could recover from that.
These debates are going to be monumental as long as the NFL doesn't get in the way.
Oh, by the way, if you've read our title, if you've read the title of this show, you're probably like, what's going on with Trump and the NFL?
Well, the rigged system is rigging it.
Oh, it's rigged. It's so rigged. Even Reince Priebus was on Meet the Depressed this morning talking about what they're going to do about it. Turns out I'm going to defend the powers that be, I don't even know who they are, that schedule the presidential debates, because they actually scheduled these so long ago.
2015.
They would not have known that Donald Trump was going to be the nominee.
No, but they would have known that there would have been a football game on Monday night.
I think it's a women's league or something like that does this, right? I mean, they don't know nothing about football, do they?
Yeah.
So
sexist. It's the Pantsuit League.
Oh, Pantsuit League. Well,
right.
Then they definitely don't know nothing about football. Oh, sorry about that, folks.
You slip down that
Sometimes
rabbit
I trip and fall into the weeds a little. So anyway, so in their defense, it wasn't like they were like, everybody loves Trump, and he's the nominee, and everybody hates Hillary, and anytime she talks, her poll numbers go down.
Yes.
So we need to have these dates in such a way that the least amount of people will be watching. Well, that's not exactly 100% true, because they would not have known that – they would have known that Hillary was going to be the nominee, because the WikiLeaks proves that they were going to stop at nothing to make sure that she was the nominee.
It was a shoo-in.
The RNC was going to have Jeb Bush, certainly. It was going to be Jeb Bush.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think $150 million was dumped from a dump truck onto his campaign?
Compared to Trump's 19?
Like 1.5 million?
Oh, that's what 1.9, not 19 million, 1.9.
Something like whatever it was. He made up for
the
that.
most efficient campaigner in all of campaign history.
Oh, easily. And the way that he was able to get
they had me scared. The
got,
talking heads had me scared.
He got $2 billion in free advertising. So that's pretty awesome.
It was huge. I mean, you would think the media being all in for Hillary. I mean, what about this?
One of our commenters, Deanna, is saying, why would Trump not allow them to continue to schedule without protest? The schedule, as far as I know, like I just said, Reince Priebus actually admitted this on Meet the Press this morning. They scheduled this before they would have ever known that Trump was going to win the nomination. There would have been 15, 16, 17 people still left.
Okay. It just hit me.
What?
Okay, strap in, folks. We'll open up some windows.
Oh, man. Open up some windows?
Should
I turn the fan on?
Get the bit going.
Oh, man.
The RNC knowingly knew.
They went along with it.
that Hillary had to win.
Okay.
They're like, all right, we can't vote for her. We can't literally come out and vote for her because we're the RNC and we got our own candidate. We'll go as far as to say we'll agree to your scheduling of the debates.
For what reason?
For Hillary to win.
They want Hillary to win.
Oh, yeah.
But if Jeb was the nominee...
They didn't want that back again. That was just
Really?
a joke. That was a joke.
Well, yeah, it's clear.
They knew it was a joke. No, because...
He's got name recognition.
Right, because with Obama in, they all became wealthier than they could have possibly imagined.
Okay.
Keep the gravy train going, put Hillary back in. She promised it. She's able to raise more money than anybody else in the world because she's funneled in from foreign governments.
Right. So part of that ends up getting doled out to them.
Oh, part of it. Yeah, they're all on the dole.
Wow.
I mean, look how long it took Paul Ryan. Ted Cruz hasn't even come out. Ted Cruz is still in the closet.
Interesting. I'll never forget when you said, I don't mind helping somebody to make millions of dollars. Just got to make sure I get a little peace of mind.
Right.
And that's a sentiment with a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? And so if you got somebody like Hillary who's able to get the billions and billions dumped on them from all over the world.
Well, she's heralded as like the golden child, the golden woman. She has been able to produce more money than any other politician for the donors, for the people.
Without a printing press. Because, Obama's definitely been able to do it with the printing press.
Well, yeah, that's a little bit different.
Yeah,
That's different.
It's apples and oranges.
He's shipping trillions of dollars out of the country. But
you don't have to work hard to call somebody up and say, get all the printing presses going.
She has physically had to do this.
Yeah. Oh, here's some ammo for you guys if you're all listening. Very careful. I know there's no liberals listening, so this is not an argument to anybody. This is just ammo for you guys. They're going to really push hard home that one of the things that you should want to vote for Hillary is because you want to continue this Obama economy. And what they're going to try to – this is how they're going to connect all the dots. They're going to say the measure of the economy is how the Dow Jones Industrial and the S&P 500 is doing.
Correct.
And the NASDAQ.
Correct.
And if you look at those numbers, and it's going to happen all the way to November, we're going to see record numbers every single week all the way to November.
Just real quick.
And it's going to trick people into thinking that the economy's doing really good.
Right.
And that it somehow is connected to unemployment and that things are growing. And all. But here's what they're not telling you, and a lot of people will forget. I see people all the time on Twitter who are going to vote for – they're supporting Trump. They love Trump. They hate they know what's wrong with liberalism and progressivism. And they know why they're not voting for them and why they're going to vote for Trump. But it confuses them that people like Hillary supporters are coming out and saying, look at this awesome economy. We got to keep it going, keep it going. And they don't really know how to respond. So here is how it works. The Dow Jones it goes up when people buy stocks. You have to buy the stocks in order for it to go up. It's supply and demand. More people, more buyers, and the stock prices go up.
And you're buying interest in that company, believing that company will use that money to get better and bigger and do more
things. And that gets you your bull market.
Right.
There's more sellers, the people they want to take money off the top by selling. It becomes a bull market or a bear market, and then the stock market goes down, 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 down. What's happening is when you're printing money at breakneck speeds by the wheelbarrow full, it goes into the economy. Under the Obama administration, it's going into the economy through welfare checks, EBT, all these government programs, grants, tons and tons of new grants and all this kind of stuff, government grants. And so all that stuff is being put in the economy through these programs, right? And as these people get it, they're spending money on stuff, okay? Using fake money that was printed using paper, okay? Right. I mean, the only reason that the money came to be is because it came off the printing presses, okay? And then this money eventually gets in the hands of responsible people. Because what is it? A fool and his money will always be parted? Well,
correct.
Well, the money doesn't get destroyed. It goes into somebody else's hands. Eventually, money goes into the hands of people who are really good with handling money. Those people then go, and what do they do with it? invest it in the stock market. So all the money that's being pumped in artificially through QE1, QE2, QE3, QE4, quantitative easing is just churning all the printing presses on. And so all of this huge record-breaking stock prices is all a big house of cards. It's all made out of fake money that was printed off and allotted through the government and doled out through government programs such as increased spending on welfare, grants for anything they just make up. And so when somebody says to you, look how good the economy's doing, it's not doing good. You're just literally propping up this giant house of cards by turning on the printing presses.
And a lot of the media had said that that the whole Hillary speech, the whole DNC thing, all of that was there, all the chaos, all the interruptions, all the booing, all the screaming. Hillary's giving her talk and they're booing and screaming. All of her, that entire thing was all a rerun. And it will be a rerun. Even Trump said this. Nobody wants a rerun. You know?
No, we can't have this thing keep going on.
Yeah, they want a rerun.
Right.
Okay. So that's what you want more of? What that is? I don't...
It's fake. It's money that eventually makes its way to responsible people, and then what ends up happening is it goes into the stock market, because that's what wealthy, rich, responsible people who are trying to invest their money do. It ends up a big giant chunk of it ends up in the stock market.
So when Bush Jr. Dub left office, the national debt was somewhere around $8 to $9 trillion.
Okay.
I just pulled up the debt clock now, and at the end of the month or end of the quarter, they'll readjust the actual numbers. Okay. But if you go to the U.S. debt clock, just Google it, you'll see it. And in real time, running time, we're at $19.4 trillion.
So we'll probably hit 20 before the election.
They are saying that we will hit $20 trillion by the time Obama leaves office.
That's just sick.
From $8 to $9 trillion to $20 trillion. Early on this show, I had said it is staggering how much has gone on in the last 7 to 8 years. But on a positive note, on a bright side, take comfort in knowing how incredibly strong America is to be able to take this hit. I mean, this is a direct torpedo hit at the heart of America, and yet
we just got to jump overboard with the welders and start fixing that thing up.
Get those underwater welders in there and just start going to town, patch up that hole.
With enough work and enough time. The thing that's really grosses me out, and I know it makes you sick too, it's just so gross, that this money, if you really stop and think about it, this fake money is being just invented and then doled out, ultimately increases the wealth and all that for the baby boomers. Okay? But the debt clock, it doesn't go away.
No, never.
So their grandchildren are going to have to be the ones to jump overboard with the welders.
Their great-grandchildren.
Yeah, assuming it takes that long to fix it. So what's so gross about it, and I'm not accusing them of knowingly doing this. If you're a baby boomer out there, I don't expect you to be like, maybe we should say no to this because all I'm really doing is borrowing from my unborn great-grandchildren, because that's exactly what you actually are doing. And it might not
be all of you, though. We're not saying all 100% every single baby boomer. We are saying the vast majority.
If you oppose progressivism, obviously we're not talking about you.
Right.
Especially if you've opposed it for your whole life.
Now, if you're 59 years old, retired with your wife, down in Florida in a mega mansion, pulling in some type of pension around $250,000. $250,000 a year. That's what you're pulling in, and you only made $100,000 a year.
And your company's already been disbanded, bankrupt, and liquidated.
No, your company was GM.
Okay.
Now Government Motors.
Oh, Government Motors. Okay.
Owned by Obama, and it didn't renegotiate the pension plan. So you're still getting the time. You're getting flooded with the money. Well, who blames me for taking it? Oh,
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how hard should we be on them?
Right.
But you are the person.
You got to recognize that is. Yeah.
You're not going to get punished for it. No. And as mad as we might act like we are at you, at the end of the day, you're not going to hear from any of us in real life.
Right. And if this was the 1970s all over again, and I was a teenager and I got my first job at GM screwing the lug nuts on the wheel, and then 35, 40 years later, I'm still screwing the lug nuts on the wheel.
Right.
And I retire a multimillionaire.
Right. And that sounds crazy. That is exactly. I worked at GE. It's like that at GE. I was working with a guy. He got that job probably when he was 19 years old or something like that. Just as I think one of the guys said, yeah, I used to clean the bathrooms here when I was 18. And now he's putting together jet engines, which that sounds all prestigious, but all you're doing is following the instructions that I wrote to put nuts on the threads and make sure you don't cross-thread it. You don't even have to lift up the tools. The tools are supported by cables and springs above you.
Right.
It's all that point of view stuff.
Right.
It's crazy. So you don't even have to exert yourself. You just you don't even have to twist a wrench. It's all motorized. So you put all this stuff together. Our job was to reduce headcount because the reduced headcount would be less in medical costs for the company.
Right. The company will pay less in medical, which means they'll make money by having less people there getting hurt.
And so those less people, they have to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. They were making like $150,000 to $250,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
And they were just putting nuts on bolts.
Right. I currently now work my day job with guys who used to work GE.
Oh, yeah? Okay. So that's what they did, right?
Oh, my goodness. One of the guys is a maintenance guy. And, man, he ain't in no hurry for nothing, no how, nowhere. He is the most laid back. Don't look him in the eye. Okay. If you look him in the eye,
he'll cut you.
He might start.
Cut you.
He might start talking.
Okay.
Once he starts talking, it is impossible to get him to stop.
Oh, it's kind of like getting on the phone with me.
But he's on the clock.
Well, you know.
Well, you're right.
So
like I said, what I got to do.
So they turn 50. Or actually, they're in their late 40s, right? And what do they say? I'm retiring at 50.
Yes.
What are you going to do with the rest of your life?
Oh,
you got 40 years left before you leave
I'm going
this
to
earth.
Florida to the villages where STDs are through the roof. And that's not a lie, folks. That's true.
That is so weird.
Down there in the villages down in Florida where all the baby boomers retired.
It's like Woodstock all over again.
It is a giant fest.
Oh, don't everybody stay away from the blue pills.
No. The older man retired and was talking about moving down there, and he did. He said, I went down for the week to visit some friends that live down there. Man, I'm going to tell you something right now. There's a bar everywhere.
Really?
There was drinks, there was bars, there was dance floor. Everywhere was a party.
Okay.
Everywhere at all times, just anywhere and everywhere. Man.
I mean, I could totally see that with people in their 20s.
Right.
But we're talking people that are like in their late 50s, early 60s.
60s, yeah.
If they're baby boomers, probably mid 60s to 70s.
So if you are somebody who's going to vote Hillary because of whatever the fact,
because they live in a commune in Florida.
Right, and they listen to CNN, the Clinton News Network, and you hear Costello say this.
But for women who have long fought for a woman in the White House, the sight of Clinton walking out onto the stage dressed like a white knight will be something they'll tell their daughters about.
Where are their daughters right now?
Don't know, but they're going to tell them about it.
If it was that important, they'd probably pull them out and say, sit down and watch this.
So a white knight.
Mommy, that don't look like a knight.
Do knights have
pantsuits?
Pantsuits? Are they?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to get gender specific. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but knights are usually men. I mean, it's a masculine term.
Not one time in my life have I ever mistakenly thought of a knight as a woman. And if you think that's sexist, well, sign me up. I just never really thought of something like that.
Well, what about Joan of Arc?
I never thought of her as a knight. I don't know why. But I guess she was, right?
Right, I don't either.
That's a good response though. You got me on that one.
There's a website.
I guess I just never thought of her as a knight, but I guess maybe that's what she was.
Okay, there's a website called heraldica.org. Female orders of knighthood.
Wow.
The order.
I'm so ignorant.
Hold on. The Order of the Hatch.
Shut up. Really?
Order of the Hatch. There is a case.
The Order of the Battle Axe.
Of a clearly military order of knighthood for women.
Okay.
And then there's another one. This is on Reddit. What to call a female knight?
Hillary Clinton.
Fantasy writers.
Oh, exactly. There you go.
So the whole question, it's all
it's fake.
It's fake.
But you bring up a very good point with Joan of Arc, though, because technically, if you look at what she did, I mean, she was not a princess and she was not a queen. She was fighting.
Yeah.
So in a way, I guess there's one female knight that we know of.
Well, but I don't even know if you would call her a knight other than maybe a leader of sorts.
And we know we're not mistaken Hillary Clinton for any kind of leadership. Cackling and screaming out to the crowd about all the stuff she screams about. I don't even want to play the sound clip that the producers at the Sean Hannity show made, where it's like a montage of her screaming and being angry. And
how about Wikipedia? What do you think they say about this?
Ooh, that'll be a good one here.
Because there is no female equivalent to a knight, Bachelor, women are always appointed to an order of chivalry. Women who are appointed to the most noble order of the Garter, or the most ancient and most noble order.
Wait, did you use the words chivalry and garter?
Yeah.
Wow, you are such a sexist.
Oh, it's getting worse.
Uh-oh.
The noble order of the Thistle.
Thistle?
Yeah, Thistle. And given the title of lady rather than dame.
Wow, we are getting really
This is
risque.
But I'm okay because this is Wiki.
You're just reading it.
This is Wikipedia.
Don't attack the messenger, people.
Well, not only that, but Wikipedia is down for the libs. I mean, you can't be mad at them.
Well, I mean, it's because they're the ones sitting at home unemployed, looking for something to do, and out of boredom, they go and put in articles for Wiki.
Like writing this. Living in the basement, writing this kind of stuff, if you will.
All right.
So, I guess we're moving right along. We're just getting into it. Do you want to break some news for the week?
We need to, because we are getting into the third hour in about 5 minutes. So you're listening to Smyth Radio at smythradio.com. That's spelled SMYTH. And you can definitely follow us on Twitter at Smyth Radio. That's SMYTHRADIO. And also we're on Facebook. Nice, solid presence on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Smyth Radio. And
you can see all of our stuff all grouped together, if you will, on smythradio.com. We've got a live feed for Twitter, which is growing by leaps and bounds. Live feed for Facebook.
The YouTube. We're on YouTube. What?
We are.
I mean, do you know the channel name?
Yeah, Smyth Radio.
Okay.
Yeah, Smyth.
It's
okay,
folks.
New.
Yeah. It's kind of new.
Well, here's the story on the YouTube thing. We got banned. Just like Milo got banned from Twitter for life. We were banned for life, but
somehow,
well, YouTube came up with, and here's what I found out where their game is.
Okay.
So how can YouTube sitting around? How can we make money off banned users?
Oh no! Don't tell me they charged us.
They don't charge us. But if they deem your video to be in some slight violation of something or other, and somebody put a claim on it, like a company,
okay,
don't worry. You're not in trouble. It's okay.
Right.
Go to your video and play it.
What happens?
They'll be that company's commercial will be in your video.
I'm confused. What if they don't have a commercial? What if somebody stole one of our original videos?
Well, then we'd have to hash it out. We'd have to fight it out with YouTube. But big names, Sony Music, I say Sony, I don't know why. But music, movies, videos, big name copyright things, these big companies have a gateway into YouTube. and they dump their info in there and say, here, YouTube, if you detect any of this, that's all our stuff.
Ah, okay.
So YouTube takes that stuff and uses it as a monitoring tool. And when they detect that stuff has been put up by a low-life scumbag, then YouTube says, okay, normally we would ban you for life and put you on super secret probation and you'd never see it again. Not the light of day.
Now we're just going to allow the content owners
to make money off your video as long as it's up.
As a capitalist, I actually like that idea.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Well, there's two things it does. Number one, it allows the owners to do have a more productive way of rectifying.
Well, monetizing their product.
Yeah. Somebody else is pushing it for you for free.
Well, let me get money off of it.
You own it,
right?
So you get the money. It's almost like if somebody stole my car and sold it, that the money bypasses them and goes directly to me.
Directly to your bank account.
Because they stole it.
Right.
They stole my car, but as soon as they sell it, it's mine.
Right.
Amazing.
But before you can get there, if you're already banned, now this is just new. Mm-hmm. Before you can get there, you have to take a test.
You should have recorded this.
Oh, I posted it on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
It's a video that is an educational cartoon lib left-wing university mind. It is sick.
Oh, I'm going to have to go find it. I never watched it.
You watch the video, and then after it, they ask you questions, and they're multiple choice. You've got to answer.
Did you capture the questions? You got to screenshot it.
Sure, I did. Yeah, I got it all.
Oh, you blew it.
I got one wrong out of like 5.
Yeah, that means you only got 80%.
Yeah, I thought I was going to fail, and they're like, okay, you're good to go. You're greenlit.
They don't care if you get them right or not. They just want you to take it.
Right. So now
it's all propaganda.
They claimed it. We played Imagine in one of our shows, and they immediately, within seconds, said, don't worry, no need to do nothing. You don't even need to take it down.
John Lennon's corpse came crawling up from its grave.
They said don't even take it down.
Okay.
You're okay, don't worry. But now there's a commercial in front of it.
And it's John Lennon?
No, not necessarily, but there's a commercial where it's been monetized. So somebody's making money on it.
It might just be YouTube.
Maybe.
But you know what? They wouldn't get away with profiting off of the fact that we put up. And by the way...
How about profit sharing? Maybe they're sending some of that money to John Lennon.
Maybe. They would argue we want all of it.
True.
Here's my issue. What we did was 100% covered by fair use.
Right. We were explaining that this
they don't care.
This is the national anthem of the Communist Party.
Well, no. What makes it legal is that we were using it as the prop for our commentary.
And we were exposing the song for what it truly is,
right,
and has been misrepresented by the left.
So in a country, in America, in a country like America, where you have the freedom of press, which is covered by, safeguarded by the First Amendment,
right,
you're allowed to show somebody's face, their likeness, maybe even a clip from a movie, in order to show the public what you want to show that's newsworthy. So let's say you wanted to say there's this a ghost in Ghostbusters that's inappropriate.
Okay.
And we show the clip that shows the ghost. That would be protected because we're showing it because it's a newsworthy thing.
YouTube's going to monetize that, make money off that.
And I don't know how we rectify that, but I think that it's
you rectify it by going to Facebook and uploading whatever the hell you want.
So Facebook's better with it.
Facebook has literally the one rule:
don't put anything up that disparages Muslims. That is their only rule, and that is the hardest and fastest rule. It is so strictly adhered to.
I have been jacked.
Yeah.
There was right after the thing went down in France with the nightclub where the Muslim Islam killed all the people in the nightclub.
You can't use the I word if you're on Facebook.
Yeah, Islam, right. There was somebody had a potato cam outside the next day.
It's a potato cam.
It was god awful.
We should just come up with a camera that looks like a potato.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because the novelty would sell.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would sell. Okay, go ahead. Oh, copyright Smyth
Smyth
Radio.
And they were out there, and somebody was filming the makeshift memorial that was out there. All these different candles and flags and stuff and everything laying down. And somebody started videotaping a woman who was dressed like a Muslim in garb, walked over to like a flag that had been laid down, and it was a Jewish flag. And she started to rip it up and stuck it underneath something else so you couldn't even see it. And I posted that video, I posted that up, and I said, this is why we should ban all Muslims from entering America.
And that is definitely...
I was shut down for at least 3 days.
Oh.
And then subsequent punishments came weeks later.
Oh.
For little...
You were on super secret probation.
And I was on notice, like they were watching me. Oh, he shared that video 5 times.
Like somebody sneezed and you said bless you, and they
Shut
said,
it down.
whoa.
You got another
whoa.
3 days.
Oh, that's so annoying.
So breaking news that came out just today, just this morning. Aaron Klein has reported this, and National Security, NSA, quote, has all of Hillary Clinton's deleted emails, and the FBI could gain access to them if they desired to, according to whistleblower William Binney, a former highly placed NSA official. He declared this on the radio show interview broadcast today on Aaron Klein's investigative radio. It's broadcast on New York's AM 970. He was speaking as an analysis. Binney raised the possibility that the hack of the DNC, the DNC hack servers last week, was done not by Russian, but by a disgruntled U.S. intelligence worker concerned about Clinton's compromise of national security via her personal email use.
So did you hear that, folks? It wasn't the Russians, which, by the way, well, before I won't get off on a tangent right now. It wasn't the Russians. It was an NSA worker that was mad that at Hillary at the Democrat.
He said there are so many people in the government, in the community of the government, that is, if you know some of these people that have top security clearances, the highest. I mean, you guard that more so than your credit. Say like you got a 900 credit score, if that's possible. I don't know what the highest is. You would guard that as if it was gold because you literally could get whatever you wanted.
Okay.
As a high security clearance personnel, you guard that with your life and you make sure you do. When I was in the Air Force on the flight line, I took a lot of respect in the fact that they gave me that security clearance. I followed the rules. I followed the laws. And I was on the lookout for anybody who wanted to jeopardize, my abilities.
Yeah, I had a secret security clearance issue. I didn't have the clearance, but my best friend did at the time, and we almost got in trouble.
But that's cool stuff. Yeah, because of what you. Yeah.
Well, he
told me a story.
Yeah, he let me, or he walked me through how to arm and shoot the missiles on the attack aircraft
from the codes that Bill Clinton left on the table, wrapped around the credit cards and the rubber band.
Right, so that way I could drop the nukes. I could have just entered the codes, but we were like, okay,
I did enough.
I get it. If I need it, I'll get it.
Right, enough's enough. So there are hundreds of thousands of employees with security clearances. Even my wife, she works at a bank. It's really prestigious to have that type of security clearance with your thumbprint. It's really neat. And a lot of these people feel like she spit in their face by putting a homebrew server in a closet.
And it's interesting.
Now I'm extrapolating all this from him.
No, you're enlightening. You're kind of making some thoughts in my head. Here are the people that are like, this woman, I guess you don't get in trouble for doing this stuff.
For nothing.
And so, boom, leaked. Like, whatever. I mean, how could I get in trouble?
Right.
How could they come back right now and throw me in jail or give me any kind of punishment for leaking this? I guess they could say, yeah, well, she didn't know and you did know.
Right.
That's
right.
that's how they're going to get him. That's how they're going to get him. They're going to say she didn't know.
Right. Well, so Binney, he was an architect of the NSA surveillance program. He became famed as a whistleblower when he resigned in 2001 after spending 30 years in the agency. So he says in this interview that just like all the information, all the emails that they have on Snowden, who was a whistleblower and ran to Russia. I don't know where he is at now.
He's in Russia.
He's still in Russia.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They've got every single thing he's ever done, every way, every how. They know what he did. They know what he took. They know everything. He said, just like Snowden, I was in there for 30 years. I know what they know, and I'm telling you, they've got all of it, and the FBI just won't walk over there and go get it.
What do you mean all of it? Like all of...
All the deleted emails.
What?
All the emails, all the ones that she didn't want to give up, all the ones she did give up. They've got copies of all of it.
So is he saying that he knows that they have it because he figures they must based on his past, or did he see it?
Based on his past knowledge of capturing information on the internet.
Here's what I don't understand. With the amount of power and corruption that Hillary has, why would it be so hard for her to just go up to one of her buddies in the NSA and say, I know you have everything I did. Can you go ahead and delete that for me, just so that it's just gone? I don't know if that's physically possible. I mean, why not? Anything can be destroyed.
Well, they could use it as a pawn, as a tool.
So they wouldn't because they want leverage.
You never know.
Blackmail.
Well,
at least you could say, well, hey, maybe I need a higher up position. Or maybe I want to be unfireable. Like, how about this? How about if I don't?
She would say to you, if you want to be unfireable, go get a job as a professor. Quit messing around. Go get a job as a university professor. Now you're unfireable.
There's a bullet in this gun. Or maybe there isn't. That's the Clinton way right there.
So in this interview, he was talking about and referenced The Observer because they actually wrote an article about security clearances and security documents. And he said that she compromised gamma material. I never heard of that before.
I mean, that sounds like something that's radioactive. I mean,
you would think. So Binney referenced The Observer, and he says, quote, so there are many people who have problems with what she has done in the past. I don't necessarily look at the Russians as the only ones who got into those emails.
First of all, we don't even know if the Russians got into it or not.
He's saying, regardless if it's the Russians, it's not only them.
Okay.
He's saying it's more so, more people than just the Russians.
Well, let's assume that everything that the Clinton campaign said about this is true, that it was from the Russians. We're going to get a lot more of this, right?
Oh, yeah. WikiLeaks is saying they're releasing another 11,000 emails.
Did you hear about, this was the tangent I wanted to get off on, but I wanted to wait.
Let me define.
It's not that, it's based on this.
Okay, I was going to define gamma material.
Oh, you know what it is?
Yeah, the Observer gave a definition to gamma material.
Yeah.
The Observer defined gamma classification. Gamma compartment, which is an NSA handling caveat that is applied to extraordinarily sensitive information. For instance, decrypted conversations between top foreign leadership, as this was.
So this is a gamma classification. This is like top secret.
She said nothing was classified. No, it wasn't marked the word classified. It was marked gamma.
And she's playing the ignorance card.
I didn't know. I've only been in politics for 30 years. I don't know.
And then she got backed up. Comey was like, well, yeah, there were markings on it that showed that it was classified. But what I'm saying is that we can't verify that she knew what those markings meant. That he said that.
Incompetent.
He said that. He said, well, there's no proof or evidence that we know of that proves that she knew what those markings meant.
What does intent really mean?
Well, if we could prove that she knew that they were classified, and we prove that she knowingly put it in a compromising situation, then we can prove that there was possibly intent.
Wow!
This is how dry those conversations go to, right?
So the breaking news is that
I wanted to get
they
off on
have
this tangent.
they have all her emails, deleted and not deleted.
So the Russians have come out and said, whoa, we want to know more about this, what you guys know.
What?
About Russians hacking the DNC servers. Because we didn't know there must be a rogue agent.
Yeah.
In the Russian agencies.
Oh, so they want them to work together to find the rogue.
Yeah, because they're like, as far as we know, we didn't hack it. This must be an agent, a secret, or what do you call it, a spy.
Yeah.
This might be a double agent.
Double agent, yeah.
So if you're claiming that Russia hacked it, you need to help us out and find this guy.
Because
we don't know who this is. This might be an Islamic terrorist.
Oh, Lord. Now we're dealing with world security.
Oh, and this is a good segue into the segment I want to get into. You got a sound clip.
Yes, I do.
About the guy who's talking about the relationship between the U.S. and Russia.
I suggested the guy that captured this video. I don't know how he's still allowed to have it up on YouTube.
It was a CNN segment.
Right.
And so Sam sent it to me, and I was like, God, this is fascinating because I love the Cold War. It's like my most fascinating. I used to love World War II. I go back and read about it and learn about it and watch movies about it. Now I am just totally ate up with the Cold War.
I think that it's because the Cold War has so much suspense.
Yes, and the Cuban Missile Crisis, whatever happened in all the wars, nothing reached the kind of tension that the climax at the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was edging. Right
It almost exploded. I mean, literally, those bombs, they were about ready to explode.
So, coming back down to earth here, so you get the clip?
Oh, yeah. Are we ready for that, Mr. Producer?
Yeah, so this was an interview that happened on CNN that is gone.
But my comment to it was it should have been renamed CNN Anchor Gets Pwned.
This is he gets pwned, but also this is now under Gamma classified.
This is Gamma classified
because you can't find it anywhere.
So it's a little bit long, but when you want to comment, just let me know and we'll comment on it. All right, here we go. CNN by interviewing Stefan Cohen.
Yeah.
Who is a professor of Russian history.
Okay. Nice. You do
Professor
that every
Cohen,
time.
does Vladimir Putin indeed have a dog in our U.S. fight?
Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin wants to end the new Cold War, and so do I. Let me say I have no ties to the Trump campaign or the Clinton campaign. But if I were to write your headline for you today, I tried on the way down here. I couldn't fit it on the front page, but it would go like this. We're in a new and more dangerous Cold War with Russia. We're approaching a Cuban Missile Crisis nuclear confrontation with Russia, both along Russia's borders and possibly over Syria. There is absolutely no discussion, no debate about this in the American media.
Stop it real quick. So, I'm all into the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's hyperbolous, but I see what he's saying. There's tensions because of the behaviors of Secretary Clinton and now it's Kerry, John Kerry, and also Obama. They have this adversarial relationship with Putin that just doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. It makes no sense. I have a theory, but it's very fringe. But I don't necessarily agree with that. But I do agree that that there's tensions that really he'll agree with me. They don't need to be there. But go ahead and keep going.
Including, forgive me, on CNN. Then along comes unexpectedly Donald Trump, who says something that suggests he wants to end the new Cold War, cooperate with Russia in various places, what we used to call détente. And now, astonishingly, the media is full of what only can be called neo-McCarthyite charges that he's a Russian agent, that he's a Manchurian candidate, that he's Putin's client.
All right. So that was beautifully put. I never really thought about it. Like, literally, the new media today is similar to the McCarthy era, which, for those of you that aren't really familiar, back in the 50s, Senator McCarthy went on he was on this mission to find all the communists in the government and even in private life that could possibly work to help the Soviet Union.
And he referred to him as a Manchurian candidate, which was he's saying that the media is trying to say Trump is like a Manchurian candidate.
I gotcha. Right. But what he was referring to, the media being like a neo-McCarthyism,
right,
where they're running around trying to accuse people like Trump of being
communist.
You're
in bed.
But here's the problem. This is why it'll make sense to you that this guy is spot on. And here's what it is. The Soviet Union is gone.
The USSR does not exist.
And Russia is not the Soviet Union. And as far as I can tell, this is the big one. This is huge. As far as I can tell, Russia is not a communist country.
Not full-blown communist, however.
I don't even think it's even a lot communist. I think there
Putin,
might be...
Putin has his grips on a lot of stuff, but...
Oh, no. There might be... There's totalitarianism
Yeah, there
tendencies
you go.
there.
Right. But not communist.
That's
not
different
communist.
than communism.
Right.
Communism tends to end up being led by totalitarian people, but that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. In Russia right now, I think there's less of a communism movement and communistic attitude there than there is in America. We are surrounded by communists now. It's ridiculous. We need Joseph McCarthy back. I'm about to go find me a shovel and dig him up. But
Joseph McCarthy weekend at Joseph's house.
Weekend at Joseph's congressional hearings. This is my theory, and I've had to bite my tongue and be quiet about it because I needed somebody like this professor to verify my theory. And that is, I believe that the communists that are running America right now are in a Cold War with capitalist Russia. What do you think of that?
Say that again.
It's the opposite. The communists running America.
They're accusing us of doing what they're actually doing.
Well, no. There's a Cold War.
Correct.
And that's what they're trying. And I'm like, what do you mean Cold War? It's because the communists are running America. And Russia is more of a capitalist country. And it's like Putin is trying to save his capitalist country from the communist Americans.
Yeah, I mean, in a broad stroke, maybe.
And I've been afraid to say this for so long. And
I'm hearing
it's very, very controversial.
It is, because the only part of that I have a slight issue with is I'm not 100% sold on the fact that Putin has embraced capitalism.
Well, there's been a lot of media that have been saying, this guy's ex-KGB. He's trying to reinstate.
They love to talk about that.
Yeah, and I was buying into that, and that was one of the main reasons why I've been reluctant to come out and say, you know what, screw it. They're capitalists. I'm pro-Russia right now. I've been reluctant to say it because I'm not sure. Maybe he is a KGB agent that longs for the days when communist Russia ruled the roost. And now,
I don't feel that, though. I definitely don't feel that.
Neither do I.
That Putin wants. And I had heard this maybe about a few years ago. An old dog was telling me. He said, "Yeah, he's just rounding them all up. He's putting the USSR back together."
That's what I heard too, and I think it's wrong. I think they're wrong about that. And did you know that when the Soviet Union fell, one of the first things they did was institute like a constitution of sorts that prevented communism from coming back. They instituted a flat tax.
Oh wow!
With a flat tax, communism comes into play through progressivism. And one of the number one things that progressives believe in is a progressive tax system, and flat tax is not progressive. It's the opposite of progressive.
Right.
And And progressive taxes will lead to communism if you do it right. And in America, the progressives have been doing it right in order to turn America into a communist nation.
We're one of the highest tax corporate tax in the world.
That, and here check. So this, who knows more about communism than former Soviet Russia? All those people, they had to live through that.
Oh, the people that are alive now, like our fathers.
Could you imagine?
Our dads, our fathers, who are now grandfathers in Russia, are telling their children about the bread lines in the 80s.
We remember those
There's
things.
no food. It was like Venezuela is now. 30,000 people a day evacuating Venezuela because of communist dictators like Hugo Chavez. They completely decimated that country.
Right. And it's just because they embraced an ideology that fails every single time it's tried. But these bread lines, people used to have to wake up in the morning and spend 10 hours in line to get the food for the day and repeat it the next morning. That's what they did every day. Their job was to wait in line for the government bread and water. It was ridiculous.
Right. So that's what happens when you're beholden to the government.
Now, those people are still alive.
Yes.
It wasn't that long ago.
They're still alive, and their kids that might have been young 9, 10, 12, 13-year-olds, they're your age. The other ones, the younger ones, are my age.
You liar.
The ones that were just born.
Liar.
My age.
Okay, so that being said, you know they've got to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We are not going down that road again. They have to, right?
Right.
Who in Russia, who was alive during communist rule, during the Soviet Union, would say, gosh, sure wish we could get back to that. Yeah, right. Right? I mean, they've got to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't care what y'all do. Just whatever you do, let's just stay away from the communism. All right? That sounds like, and I guarantee you that Putin's probably saying, hey, guys, I hope that you allow me to be the world leader and take over the world. I hope you're cool with that. But in return, I promise we won't go and become communists again.
Wow.
I mean, because you know the people are like, guys, Putin, please.
You remember how we suffered.
Yes, right.
Don't allow us to have to suffer.
Don't go down that road.
Something that if you listen to us on iHeartRadio, which is recorded, or YouTube or even Facebook, if you go to us live on smithradio.com, Sunday evenings, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern, you can go on a live message board and you can comment. And one of our commenters, possibly what is that? It's like a co-producer, Sam.
Yeah, he's like an unofficial producer.
Yeah, that's it, unofficial producer. Sam says, can you imagine Trump president, Trump trade with Russia?
Oh, it'd be great.
Would that not be incredible?
And that's probably why Putin is like, gosh, I hope Trump becomes president.
He says Russian people would kill to drive a Chevy. No.
Literally?
Well, maybe not a Chevy because the government owns it, but how about a Ford? There you go.
Yeah, as long as it's not government owned.
But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. American-made vehicles. Can you imagine being able to own a truck? A big old truck. An American truck.
Yeah. I mean, so, okay, go back to playing it because he gets even deeper. He gets deeper.
The real danger is what's being done to our own political process. Mm-hmm. This is a moment when there should be, in a presidential year, a debate, because Mrs. Clinton's position on Russia seems to be very different, has been a long time. Trump speaks elliptically. You got to piece together what he says.
Okay. Hillary said we got to hit the restart button with Russia.
Yeah, she actually did literally hit a plastic reset.
Right, and it was and failure. She is mentally a failure, but the failure at that, yeah.
Well, it's clearly a failure because they're acting like we're in a Cold War again. But okay,
right,
seems to want a new American policy toward Russia, and considering the danger, I think we as American citizens deserve that debate and not what will be given in the media today, including on the front page of the New York Times. I end by saying that these reckless branding of Trump as a Russian agent, most of it is coming from the Clinton campaign, and they really need to stop.
Okay. I did not pause. There is no,
no
editing.
pause.
That is the announcer who was shaken to his core.
Yeah. Back it up and let's hear that again and his response. Because that's kind of hilarious.
Campaign, and they really need to stop.
Okay, I don't know where to begin.
You know what that was? You know what that was? Here's what it was. His producer was in his earpiece, just blowing up, just diarrhea of the mouth into his ear. Right. And so that he realized, oh, that's my cue to start talking. I got to say something, but I have nothing. So what does he say? I don't even know where to begin.
And not only that, but Stefan is literally making the case.
Yeah, that was Snuffleupagus, wasn't it? Oh, no, that was a bald guy. I'm sorry, we got the wrong one.
No, he's making the case. Stephen Cohen.
Oh, it's Cohen, yeah.
I was thinking of Stefan from YouTube. Stephen Cohen is making the case and accusing the Clinton campaign as doing this. At the same time, he is inferring that the interviewer he's looking at is an accomplice.
Oh, of course.
And he's like, oh,
it's big conspiracy as far as they're concerned.
And the words and the sentences that are coming out of his mouth are not being understood and computed by the mindless dolt who is the media. Okay, roll on.
Unpacking all that you just offered to us, but I guess I'll start as follows. As one who can't match your credentials, here's what I see.
That means he's stupid. As one that can't match his credentials, i.e., a complete moron.
You have superior knowledge to me. I'm conceding that your words are words that are big words
that have. It's not total gobbledygook.
You got sentences that are not pre-written, and you just talk.
You have words that form sentences.
Okay. The outside looking in. I see Donald Trump having said to the New York Times just within the last 10 days that he's not so sure he would stand with NATO allies, and I'm paraphrasing, he'd want to know whether they've been pulling their own weight. The import of his comments seems to suggest that he could provide Putin with unfettered, undeterred access to the Baltic states whose independence he resents. And so it all seems to fit, therefore, that Putin would have a dog in this fight, would want to see Donald Trump win this election so that Putin, could do as he pleases in that part of the world.
Okay, real quick.
CNN.
So my response to that, before I let the professor respond, I just want to keep it really simple. The premise is wrong here. The premise is that we have a weak leader, which would be right now Obama. Everybody buys that premise that we get walked all over. When somebody wants to do something, they do it to us because we're a bunch of cucks. All right?
Right. Cuckolds.
Right. That being said, we need NATO. We need NATO because we're not strong enough to stand up for ourselves.
Obama and Hillary both would love to see nothing more than NATO be the world power, and we just be a state.
We're just a little person that doesn't do nothing.
Yeah, we're a state of states underneath NATO, and just follow their loan. There was a
we don't make any decisions.
Right, there's a directive or a law that NATO actually passed down having to do with guns and
we would have to adhere to that.
Right, we would have to adhere.
We would no longer be a sovereign state at all.
No.
Okay, but that's getting a little bit off on a tangent.
Sorry.
That's a little bit off on a tangent. The point is that he's operating under the premise that when we don't empower NATO, that Russia's just going to walk all over the world. There's two premises.
So he's literally saying NATO is the only thing keeping Putin in check.
Right. But here's the two things. Here's the other premise he's going by. He's literally going by the old Cold War doctrine. And what's the old Cold War doctrine? Dominoes falling. That was the big thing. If any of you guys are scholars of the Cold War, the big problem that we had, this literally was the war. If you want to know, what do you mean Cold War? We didn't fight with them. What are you talking about? This was the war. Russia, or Soviet Union, would take over countries by making them just like their leaders, be a figurehead of the area, and they would engulf that. That would become part of the Soviet Union. And they did that. What they tried to do with Afghanistan, it didn't work. But a whole bunch of other countries, the Ukraines and all that stuff.
Oh, Islam tried to do it with America.
Well, they're probably going to succeed if we elect Hillary Clinton.
Because Obama was their head schmo.
Right.
Yeah.
So the domino theory was that as the dominoes start falling, they all fall.
Right.
And so we have to stop Russia or Soviet Union from taking over these countries. That was the basis of the Korean War. That was the basis of the Vietnam War. That was the basis of Afghanistan. We fought the Russians in all three of those wars to try to keep the dominoes from falling. It was the basis of Cuba. Cuba was a domino. It fell. All right? And then it was all of a sudden we had the big red dog in our backyard, okay?
Right.
So that's the dominoes. Now, what this CNN idiot is operating off of is the premise that Putin wants to continue the domino theory. He's not even communist. They're not trying to take over the world with communism.
No.
They're not doing dominoes. Now, that we had an issue with Ukraine, and that's definitely something that we'll have to debate.
And I was going to bring that up. I didn't have to find a point for it. But
He's talking about Crimea and
a couple
Ukraine
years ago, it was right on the edge, and I thought that Russia was going to take back the Ukraine, take back some of the other states. Whether he got sidetracked with helping bail out Syria from the Muslim Brotherhood, maybe that was his sidetrack note, but he didn't.
Just disappeared.
He's done with you. He hasn't done anything with it.
Anymore.
Not that we know of. I mean,
yeah, maybe it fell out of our news. Maybe it's still an issue. I could probably get an interview with my guy from Romania, see what he says about it. But
right.
So there's two premises here that are just totally false. The one is that Putin is the premier of the new Soviet Union and that they're going to implement a domino theory to take over the world with communism.
Right.
He's not even communist. So there's theory number one that's wrong. The second premise is that we're just a bunch of weak little cucks that are going to let anything happen, and without our big tough NATO that's going to come save the day, that Russia would just go ahead and implement the domino theory again. Well, here's the problem. When Trump is president, nobody's going to care about NATO. They're going to be worried about how strong Trump is and how strong America is and what Trump is going to do and how strong he's going to be.
Because the way that we have been weakened militarily, there's no question about it. Everybody knows it. You can see it. We have a weak presence in the world. And these aren't just talking points of Trump. This is for real.
Yeah.
We are looked at as a joke. An absolute joke to the world.
And we've let that happen.
And we've let the UN dictate to us what we should and shouldn't do.
Yeah, UN and NATO,
right.
both of them. We got UN freaking armored personnel
blue
carriers
helmets walking around
in America now. What's that all about?
You know, I always talked about that.
It's to take over.
I think I might have talked about that with my brother, but I said, could you imagine if a blue helmet walked up to you and told you to do something?
Oh, hell no. What if he put a gun on you?
I would say you need to get that out of my face before you
diplomatic immunity
before you die. All right,
Professor Cohen, does Vladimir
Mrs. Clinton's position on Russia seems to be very different.
What did you do?
We lost our place in time, so we're going to catch back up.
Well, you better hurry up.
Has been a long time. Trump speaks elliptically. You got to piece together what he says, but he seems to want a new American policy toward Russia. And considering the danger, I think we as American citizens deserve that debate and not what will be given in the media today, including on the front page of the New York Times. I end by saying that these reckless branding of Trump as a Russian agent, most of it is coming from the Clinton campaign, and they really need to stop.
Okay, I don't know where to begin in unpacking all that you just offered to us, but I guess I'll start as follows. As one who can't match your credentials, here's what I see from the outside looking in. I see Donald Trump having said to the New York Times just within the last 10 days that he's not so sure he would stand with NATO allies, and I'm paraphrasing, he'd want to know whether they've been pulling their own weight. The import of his comments seems to suggest that he could provide Putin with unfettered, undeterred access to the Baltic states whose independence
Soviet Union.
he resents. And so it all seems to fit, therefore, that Putin would have a dog in this fight, would want to see Donald Trump win this election so that he, Putin, could do as he pleases in that part of the world. CNN is covering that. I mean, I have to defend the network.
CNN is covering that in the sense that they are repeating the narrative that Donald Trump is the Manchurian Candidate, which was a book that was written about, he's supposed to, he's elected. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He's being led like a puppet.
Correct. So he is right in saying CNN's covering that, but that's not what Stephen is saying.
In that regard, but why does that not all fit? And why does it not all fit with the headline in today's New York Times, which says Russian spies said to hack Clinton's bid?
Said to have. That's not news. That's an allegation. James Clapper. I don't know who hacked. Everybody hacks everybody. I mean, we hacked into Chancellor Merkel's cell phone.
By the way, Obama hacked Germany's Chancellor Merkel.
Yeah.
The Chancellor.
Yeah. That's because that's what you do.
Learned that from Snowden. The Israelis hacked. The Americans hacked. The Chinese hacked. Everybody hacked. The point is that, and I know you said it not to defend it, but as a provocation, that let's take the position you just set out, that Putin wants to end the independence of Baltic states. There's no evidence for that.
Yep, exactly.
None whatsoever. The point is that on the networks, and I'm not blaming CNN, and there's none on any network.
Just making it up.
There's none in the New York Times. I'm old enough to remember that during the last Cold War, all these issues were debated and that you had a proponent of each point of view. But you've now got accusations both against Putin, both against Trump, which needed to be debated. Let's go back to what you said, that Trump said about NATO. Trump said early on he wanted to know, 60 years after its foundation, what was NATO's mission today? 100 policy walks in Washington since the end of the Soviet Union 25 years ago have asked the same question. Is NATO an organization in search of a mission?
Yep.
For example, its mission for the last 20 years has to expand ever closer to Russia. So people have now asked, why isn't it fighting international terrorism? That's a legitimate question.
Bingo!
But we don't debate it. We don't ask it. We just say, oh, Trump wants to abandon NATO. I don't defend Trump. Trump raises questions. And instead of giving an answer to the substance of the question, we denounce him as some kind of Kremlin agent. That's bad for our politics, but still worse.
Well,
given the danger, we're not addressing it.
I love this conversation, and I could go on for hours with you on this subject.
No,
I wish time afforded that.
That's
I've not regarded him in that respect. And I think that we've just had this conversation, the conversation that you say is so desperately lacking.
Didn't.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time.
You didn't have no conversation. There was no debate. There was this crazy premise-laden, fallacy-laden...
The history professor just took you to school.
Oh, it was so ugly.
And you didn't take notes because you were too arrogant and you couldn't get it out of your own way.
So what did he do? Not only did he abruptly and awkwardly end that discussion, but the guy who sent this to me, Mr. Sam, on the comments section right now, that link wasn't working right before the show started.
You sent me the link, so I clicked on it to get the audio.
Yeah, the link wasn't there, so I searched CNN directly. I went directly to their website, and I searched and searched. This clip is gone as far as I'm concerned. They deleted it. It's gone. So luckily, I found it on a completely unrelated source. I'm really thankful I found it because that is some great stuff, and now we've captured it for all time on our show. So if that thing ends up being being nixed, being 86'd altogether, at least we'll have it on our show.
And my hard drive, which is currently deep in the bowels of a bunker, hidden.
So that was I hate to make a really abrupt segue, but we're going to run out of time here, and we have got to talk about this ridiculous talking points that the DNC has come out with, trying to attack Trump on how rude and crazy and unpatriotic it is for Trump to attack these heroes of the parents of a hero.
Fallen soldier
who just happened to be Muslim. Because if it were up to him, he would have never been able to serve in America as a heroic
Yeah, if it was
person.
if Trump was president when this hero was born and came to America at 2 years old, he would have never come here. Never. And he would never had a hero status.
It's actually number one on your list here, too. So Khizr Khan
Right.
was the father who spoke at the DNC. They gave this guy about the largest microphone you could give, right?
It was
Being able to speak there.
right.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So we had to shift his.
We turned a 2-minute speech into about a minute speech, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did. We had to cut it back down a little bit, so it goes pretty quick. But here's Khan and the meat of his statement and blasting Trump for a fallen war hero.
Like many immigrants, we came to this country empty-handed. We believed in American democracy, that with hard work and goodness of this country, we could share in and contribute to its blessings. Our son, Humayun, had dreams too of being a military lawyer, but he put those dreams aside the day he sacrificed his life to save the lives of his fellow soldiers. Hillary Clinton was right when she called my son the best of America. If it was up to Donald Trump, he never would have been in America. Donald Trump, you're asking Americans to trust you with their future. Let me ask you, have you even read the United States Constitution? I will gladly lend you my copy. Have you ever been to Arlington Cemetery? Go look at the graves of brave patriots who died defending United States of America. You will see all faiths, genders, and ethnicities. You have sacrificed nothing and no one.
Okay, so he just painted a straw man there at the end. It's just,
No, the whole thing. The whole thing. So what he did there, it's very important for you to recognize. I wish I could spend more time on it. I'd like to really break it down because nobody's recognizing this for what it is. If you really stop and think about what he's doing with this entire speech from the beginning to the end, what he's doing from the beginning is he's starting to build up a straw man. He's putting he's got the outfit, it's all empty, the whole clothes, and he starts shoving in the straw. And he fills up one leg, and then he fills up another leg, and he fills the arm up, then he starts packing the body full of straw. And then he props that thing up and puts a head on it. And the last portion of what he just said was him taking a baseball bat and bashing that straw man to pieces. Right. Which was when he started going directly attacking Trump at the end of that speech. It's a straw man at this point. It's just made up attacks on Trump. He's saying that Trump said stuff that he never said, or that he meant it in a certain way that he never meant. And that's what that whole entire thing was. From beginning to end. It was him building up a straw man and then bashing it to pieces at the end.
Because when he says things like, have you even read the Constitution? I mean, he's speaking in the ether, and there's nobody to answer his questions, so they're all rhetorical, and they're answered by the liberal, no-mindedness people in the crowd.
They believe now that Trump, has
never read the Constitution.
Right. Because the straw man didn't.
And had never gone to Arlington Cemetery.
The straw man didn't. So,
and doesn't know anything about patriots in the cemetery of all races and colors and genders and stuff.
Right. And so it's tough because I do believe that this guy's son is a hero. I believe he's an American patriot.
Absolutely.
The fact that he is a Muslim, really, it doesn't make any difference. As you got to judge people by what their actions. I mean, I have friends. Hopefully, I'd like to know that they would listen to me every day. Not sure, but a family that I'm really close with in wrestling community happened to be Muslim, and he even said to me after the Chris Cornell incident, "We don't have anybody like that in our mosque. That's just crazy." He thought it was crazy. He brought it up to me. I didn't even bring it up to him. He brought it up to me. He said, "I don't have anybody in my mosque like that." So I look at people like that, and I'm like, what does this all mean? Who are these Muslims? Oh, when I talked to Edward Cage the other day in the interview, he said, Nation of Islam is a totally different belief system than the Islam that does the like the Middle Eastern Islamic terror and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I didn't get into what the difference was, but I believe him when he says that, because he's done a lot of research.
He was in
Nation of Islam, but he also has done a lot of research on the Islam that's now performing terrorism.
Okay.
So he said it. So the point I'm trying to make is that I guess, there's a lot of different denominations of Christianity. Apparently there's a lot of different denominations of Islam. These people who spoke are probably of the peaceful nature.
Yeah.
But you remember during the Iraq War, we had soldiers throwing grenades in tents with colonels in them. And these were American soldiers. You remember those incidences?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and then you got the crazy guy in Texas, Fort Hood, killing all the dozen people or whatnot.
Right.
In the recruiting, I don't know if it was recruiting, but wherever it was, a bunch of unarmed soldiers.
It was in a gun-free zone.
Well, it was on base in an area that you weren't allowed to have your gun out.
Illegal to have a gun.
So he goes in there with an M16
with a gun,
and starts blasting people
because he knows nobody has a gun.
Right.
Right. Okay.
So, the point is, here's the point. The point is that this is very controversial, but I can say it and Brian can say it because we served. And I think that other people that are like-minded conservatives that also served would probably agree with us. I hope they would. And that is that they've created this false premise that this guy's son was a one-of-a-kind, irreplaceable person. And that only him could perform the heroic act that he did. Only him. And it's not true. What he did was heroic. He is a hero for what he did.
Correct.
But there are other people, and very few. Did you say he jumped on a bomb to save people?
He had something to do with that.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually have thought this through, having been a Marine and gone through Marine Corps for 4 years and all that kind of stuff. Thought about what I would do. Would I jump on that bomb? And really, I mean, that's whoever the closest guy is got to jump on the bomb, and you don't really think about it, and you do it, and then after you're dead, you become a post-mortem Medal of Honor recipient.
Right, and in the Air Force, we go through that same mental training, that mental state of mind to where when you see a situation like that, where can I get a Marine?
That's a good one. I like that. Gotta throw a Marine on that grenade. Oh, I didn't see that coming. You got out of left field with that. So the guy's a hero, but so are all the other guys that have jumped on bombs before him to save their platoon. And so we're trained to do that. We're trained to be thrown on the bomb by the Air Force personnel. Whatever. So that being said, the guy's not Einstein, okay? Only Einstein can come up with the theory of relativity, especially general relativity. It's crazy.
Right. And at that point in time, and maybe there might have been another Einstein another couple of 100 years from now that we just didn't get to.
Yeah, it took several hundred years for that to happen.
This man, and by all intents and purposes, he's a hero, and I'm not trying to take away from that, but he was a soldier. He was an infantryman. I mean, he was on the ground. He's in the troops.
His heroic action was not unprecedented.
Correct.
There's other soldiers who are highly trained that have done it in the past and have died doing it.
And I'm not trying to belittle or negate what he did. However, what his father is doing is disgraceful to what his son had did. His son was a hero. His father is not.
Right. And they're trying to prop the family up as he's a hero to give birth to a hero. You're just not the... And I said this on Your Voice Radio the other day, really important. You don't... I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But here's I don't want to lose my point here. My point is that you don't... what he did can be done by any soldier who's highly trained, patriotic, wants to perform heroically when called upon. And it's been done thousands of times by soldiers throughout 240-odd years of our existence. We don't need to find these heroes in the Middle East.
And heroes are not born in the Middle East to come to America.
To save us.
Like, that's the breeding ground for our heroes, is somewhere in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind with this
That's
talk.
the premise they're coming up with.
Because Hillary wants to bring another 100,000 Middle Easterners that are in war-torn, ISIS-torn areas who could very well be terrorists. And ask anybody in Germany right now.
Why would you take 100 people, 10 of which could be terrorists, so that hopefully we can find one guy to jump on a bomb to save his platoon? It's stupid. Now, if you need somebody to come up with the theory of general relativity, we may have to go to Germany for that.
Or Israel and fly him over here.
Yeah, wherever Einstein was born. Sometimes you get a millennia. You get once a millennia mind. Okay, I understand that. We can make that argument, but don't sit here and tell me that we're missing out on heroes that are immigrating from the Middle East.
And that's the whole point they're trying to make with this.
Insult to American-grown heroes.
So do we play Trump's response?
If you want.
Trump was on with George Stuffopolos.
You mean the Clinton former staff?
Right.
Yeah.
George Stuffopolos.
He was the chief of staff, I think.
There was a man named Khizr Khan speaking at the Democratic Convention. His son, Captain Humayun Khan, was killed serving in Iraq. And he had some very tough questions for you. He said you wouldn't have even let his son in America.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know that. I saw him. He was, very emotional and probably looked like a nice guy to me. His wife, if you look at his wife, she was standing there. She had nothing to say. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have anything to say. You tell me, but plenty of people have written that. She was extremely quiet, and it looked like she had nothing to say. A lot of people have said that, and personally, I watched him. I wish him the best of luck, George.
What would you say to that, Father?
Well, I'd say we've had a lot of problems with radical Islamic terrorism. That's what I'd say. We have a lot of problems where you look at San Bernardino, you look at Orlando, you look at the World Trade Center, you look at so many different things. You look at what happened to the priest over the weekend in Paris where his throat was cut, 85-year-old beloved Catholic priest. You look at what happened in Nice, France a couple of weeks ago. I'd say you got to take a look at that because something's going on and it's not good.
He said you have sacrificed nothing and no one.
Well, that sounds... who wrote that? Did Hillary's script writers write it?
How would you answer that, Father? What sacrifice have you made for your country?
I think I made a lot of sacrifices. I worked very, very hard. I've created thousands and thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs. I think
those are
I've done a lot.
sacrifices?
Oh, sure, I think they're sacrifices. I think when I can employ thousands and thousands of people, take care of their education, take care of so many things, even in military. I mean, I was very responsible, along with a group of people, for getting the Vietnam Memorial built in downtown Manhattan, which to this day people thank me for. I raised, and I have raised, millions of dollars for the vets. I'm helping the vets a lot.
That's a sacrifice
I think
right
my
there.
popularity with the vets is through the roof.
What he's doing for the vets. What he is doing for the vets. I mean, what the guy's 70 years old. He's been just a workhorse of a capitalist his whole life.
When you talk about a sacrifice, he's making sacrifices that he doesn't have to do that. He could go somewhere else. He could stop the sacrifice. He should have said the sacrifice I'm making to be attempted to be president of the United States.
Oh my gosh, that's serving.
Sacrifice.
That's serving. You know, when you work for the government, it used to be called serving. Seriously, now it's like, hey, where's my paycheck?
And he's going to be the president of the United States, sacrificing his time, tireless
Huge
effort.
Sacrifice.
He's sacrificing his family time, his personal time.
And
he could go retire on a private island and never be seen again.
The amount of money and power that he gets as president is really, I mean, maybe on a world scale he gets more power.
It's pathetic.
But he had a multi-billionaire. He had plenty of money and power. He's going to get much less money and all that stuff. So a really, really important thing before we're out of time, turns out Khizr Khan is a spokesman for CARE, which is the Center for the Islamic Relations.
Yeah, it's the center that brings Islamic terrorists to America.
Yeah,
they have been labeled. They have been labeled a terrorist organization.
Oh, absolutely. They are the propaganda arm for ISIS and the Muslim Brotherhood. They are pretty much. They are as much a part of the terrorism, Islamic terrorism in the world, as the CNN is the propaganda arm of the DNC, as we found out through WikiLeaks.
So Khan went back on CNN after his speech. He went back on CNN after Donald Trump and claimed that, oh, my wife was sick. She was ill. She takes a look at her son, and that's it. She falls to pieces. She can't handle it anymore, and she's losing her mind. So for Trump to say my wife was sitting there, that's sad. That's real sad. Also, he got into name-calling, calling Trump, saying that Trump has a black soul. He has a black soul. He doesn't understand. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. It's just awful. And so for CNN to perpetuate this and to keep this going, it's just absolutely pathetic. However, CNN is the Clinton News Network. That's their job. That's what they do. They're there to prop up Hillary Clinton. That's their job. So they want to perpetuate this as much as they can. Whether Trump knows it or not, he's a very, very smart man. I'm sure he's fine. He handled that interview fairly well. I've got no problem with that. Megyn Kelly apparently had a meltdown. Now we're going over to Fox. Megyn Kelly was interviewing Mike Huckbee on this very same thing. Some people are calling it a meltdown. I just say she's just being goofy, and almost seems like that she's getting paid by the DNC as well. Just a little clip on that, and I'm going to stop about halfway through.
Young man would not have been allowed into the country because this family came to America because they wanted to come and be Americans. And his son proved how much he wanted to be by the sacrifice that he made. But Donald Trump doesn't want to make sure that every Muslim never comes to America. But he does want to make sure that when people come, whoever they are, not just Muslims, but whoever they are, if they immigrate to this country, they immigrate because they want to assimilate and be Americans. This young man, this young man's father and his mother really did that.
That's not what he's proposed, Governor. He proposed a Muslim ban, which only now has he changed, which he said he didn't walk it back. He says he's expanded his ban on Muslims to include Muslims from any territory that suffers terrorism. And the UAE, where this little boy at 2 years old...
Okay, you got to call him a little boy, and you got to remind everybody he was 2 years old at the time. This is that whole thing. When anybody think about the children?
Came from would be included. His parents are from Pakistan. That would be included. And so that's the dad's point, that his son, an American hero, would not have been here if Donald Trump had been president when they wanted to come.
Well, Donald Trump, though, has clarified, Megan, that his intent is to make sure that people are vetted. It's not just an outright or a permanent ban, and even said it would be a temporary suspension of immigration until we knew. Keep in mind that this was in the context of the President Obama, wanting to bring hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees to the country.
But that's a different issue. That's a different issue.
No, it's the same issue.
Syrian refugees is a different issue. That's not.
No, Megyn Kelly, it is the issue. And what Megyn Kelly is attempting to do is she's attempting to twist logic. She's attempting to say, well, this boy was a hero. We would have been one less hero in America. And we need to get heroes here. And the fact that he was a hero, oh, thank God we dodged a bullet. If we didn't bring this hero over, oh, and there's more heroes in the Middle East, and they're just waiting. They're waiting to come over. There's rows and hundreds of thousands of heroes spread across the Middle East wanting to come to America, to become a hero in America, to protect America and America's interests. That's exactly what she's saying. And Huckabee's saying to her, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't pass the smell test. And you're absolutely right. It doesn't pass the smell test. What you're doing right now is literally propping up the argument for Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump. Who, I don't know who you're getting paid by, but you are in lockstep. Megyn Kelly, you are in lockstep with CNN and George Stuffopolos. I mean, that's just it. There's no other way to look at it. And it's just sad. It's sad to see back in the day, I just admired her and I thought she was great. And it's just sad to see her fall from grace like this. It's unbelievable. It's unprecedented. I mean, really? Is this where you're going with it? It's just so frustrating. All right, folks. Well, you can find us anywhere around the internet, the Ethernet. Check us out on iHeartRadio.com. Quick link to find us there. You can go to iHeart.smithradio.com. That'll take you right there. We're on iTunes, blowing up on iTunes all over the place. Check us out on Twitter at Smith Radio on Twitter and Facebook.com/Smith Radio. We are here every Sunday night just breaking it down for you. And that's about it, folks. This is the fastest 3 hours you'll spend anywhere on the net. The greatest show that you'll find on Sunday evening, every Sunday, 5:30 to 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can check out our website, smithradio.com, where you can see everything. You've got the Twitter account, the Facebook account. You've got Breitbart's RSS feed. You got Sick Bias RSS feed. And that's it.
With unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.